Try it. All right, everybody. When plan A doesn't work, sometimes you have to go with plan B. So here we are. Hopefully, everybody can catch me on this stream. This one's going to be a little more jittery, I guess, but that's okay. Now I got to go find the stream myself in case we have questions, because I don't have Brandon Hicks first again. All chat's visible. All right. Thank you, Brandon Hicks. Thank you. Can you hear me fine? Hopefully you can hear me. Hello, Brian Taylor. Welcome. Happy New Year, everybody. Hopefully this stream is going to be a lot better. Unfortunately, it's not going to be what I wanted to produce, but this is how it's going to have to be right now, and people can find me. And I got to look around real quick to, I don't know if I can tell people I'm on this stream versus the previous stream. But let me know if you can hear me, Brian Hicks. Hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Let me know if you can hear me. Welcome, everybody. Hopefully, people can find me on this stream. Let's see here. Where's the other stream at? Okay, 2 people on it. Let's see here. All right. Okay. Yeah, it looks like everybody doesn't know I restarted on this stream. But Brian Taylor, myself. Well, this looks like it's going to be me and you for a second here, Brian Taylor. So anybody want to talk about anything? I'm all for it today. I didn't have a. Oh, we got feedback. Hello, Curtis Davis. Welcome to StopStrugglingNow.com. And discussion today can be about any business, anything, almost anything. We can talk about a lot of things. So welcome. And the first thing is, since I had to restart the stream, I had things down below in the description for the previous stream, but this stream I wasn't able to set it up. So as I was saying in the other stream, if anybody has a business, a product, a service, or anything like that, I'm trying to start something, road to millions, and I'm trying to get people help. Meaning you go to our Facebook group, which is, I'll answer that question in a second, Curtis. The Facebook group is facebook.com/groups with an S /Stop Struggling Now group. Stop Struggling Now group is at the end. And you go sign up there, and we're trying to help people who promote their products, services, businesses online. And the idea is, as a group, we'll go we'll go comment, we'll go subscribe, we'll go help that person out to get it out to more people, which in turn helps all of us. Instead of trying to just work as 1 or 2 people, you can work as a full group. So that's the idea on the Facebook group and the Emerging Millionaires group that we've started. We just started it this month, and t-shirts will be coming out in about 2 weeks for that. The other thing, Curtis, you were asking me why did I start business? It's a long story, but I'm going to try and give you excerpts on how it all came about. It was very simple. When I was a kid, my dad, I wanted like a stereo system or something. And being a kid, you don't think about money and what it costs and what it takes to make money. And I said to him, Dad, because I never asked him for anything really. I just said, hey, Dad, can I get this stereo system? And he's like, no, if you put in half and I put in half, that's the way you can get it. And basically, I was looking at him like at, like 10 years old, 11 years old, somewhere in there. I was looking at him like, what are you talking about? And I said, I don't have a job. I don't have any way to generate income. And then he says, I have a lawnmower in the driveway. So I was like, oh, okay. So I went and mowed lawns. That's how it all started. Because then I said, okay, if I want something, then I have to go earn it. And that also made me be in business for myself. I created what they call now landscaping business. So I just went to all the neighbors down the street, knocked on the door, and I literally didn't say, can I mow your yard this week? I said, can I mow your yard from now on? And so 20, 30, 40 years ago, I was getting like $5 per yard. So I just kept going. And then I had 20 accounts. So as this little kid, I'm coming back with like $100 a week. Then, because I got so big, I ended up having to enlist a partner. And that's where the games begin. And then I find out your partners may not be good for you, and you have to choose your partners because I told my partner to go cut some yards. He comes back and he's short with the money. So right then and there, you found out that you can't trust anybody when it comes to business and money. So that's how I started out in business altogether when I was a little kid. And that's why I have no problem with starting businesses and why nobody should have a problem. So, and then when you fast forward it, I didn't always do my own business. It's just that in the back of my head, I always had this thing where if I wanted something, I had to do it myself. It's good enough to work at a job, but your upside is only as good as generally the person that moves or leaves or get promoted out of the position that's higher than you. So whether you had better skills than the person that was above you in the hierarchy in a company did not matter because usually they're senior, they're have the senior term. You've only been there 2 years, they've been there 8. So therefore they're in a higher position than you simply because they've been there longer and they've learned the company way a little bit longer. Not because they're actually better than what you're doing. You might have already gotten up to what their pay grade is, but you can't skip them, nor can you take their position because the position is not available. So therefore, I never liked that hierarchy system that we have in American society, which is better than any other place. I mean, around the world, if you're born into a certain class, that's where you stay pretty much all your life. That's why a lot of people want to come to America. So there's an upside in America, but the way I always looked at it is when you work for somebody else, you always should be the hardest worker in the room. But with that said, I always looked at myself as a free agent. So I work somewhere, I'm getting paid $40,000 a year. I'm the hardest worker in the room, and I'm sitting there going, well, I can't get promoted. So I always figured I better look for another spot. Just like if you play sports or something along those lines, I always looked at it like, okay, I'm looking to always get my next contract. It's got to be a higher pay grade. So the higher pay grade was never moving fast enough, especially when you're only 20 years old. Let's just face it, when you're 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, before social media came out, that was the years that everybody told you go to school, get an education, giving you that nonsense. And then after you get an education, you get out and you try to get a job. Well, what they don't tell you is just because the 1,000 people or 2,000 or 4,000 people that graduated in your college class, out of that class, there might have only been 100, 200 people that graduated with your major, except what they don't tell you is there's what, another 1,000 colleges that graduated, which means now there's, let's just face it, 100,000 people that is your competition who's all vying for the same jobs, and there's not even 100,000 positions around the country that's available. And then you have to settle for something less than what you wanted because there's only a few spots. This is what people don't realize. So now you graduate from college and you find out that when you go for an interview, they're interviewing another 50 people. And then they're telling you, will you accept a different pay, or will you accept a different position, just to get your foot in the door? And that's what they were doing 20, 30 years ago. I don't know what they're doing these days, but that just gives you in perspective. And not to mention, I graduated in the summer. What about those people that graduated in the winter? They're out there looking for jobs that are looking for the same job you are. Yep, that's it exactly. So basically, as a worker from 9 to 5 or whatever, you can work graveyard, you can work swing shift, you're locked in. You're only going to get paid enough so you can keep coming back to your job. The boss is the one who's out running around, and he's gladly saying, if you work hard, if you're the hardest person in the room, that's cool. That just means I get to make an extra $100,000 this year, or I get an extra 3 vacations this year while you're sitting there busting your ass. So that's how I've always looked at working for someone else. Not that it's a derogatory thing. It's just that for me, being 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 at the time, I didn't think the upside was fast enough. I didn't think being 23 years old, waiting around for 10 to 15 years before I'm going to get promoted to be making $120,000 or something. I didn't think that was a good plan, because every day that you wake up, you can make your own plan. So this is why I had to always do my own thing. And even though I worked for somebody else, I always had my own little side business going on, because then I would never be beholden to the company. Let's face it, companies are entities, right? They're businesses, they're not personal. So if they wake up one day and they say, oh man, we lost $1 million, we have to lay people off, they don't think about you. They don't think about you saying, oh, you have a mortgage or cars, or you have bills, food and all that. They're thinking about their bottom line. They come in and say, hey, we have to lay off 20 people here today. And if you were not prepared to be laid off, because most people who are employed are working paycheck to paycheck. So if you're not prepared to be laid off, you're screwed. So this is why I always had a side business, because then not only do I not have to worry about if I was laid off, the second phase of this is, what I detest is your boss or your management or people, your supervisor, treating you like you're nothing because they know you have to come back to work. So therefore, I never had to put up with any foolishness at my job. If something was wrong, I had to say it. And I could say it, because if I got fired, it was like I wasn't worried, because I had things going on. So that's the bottom line to why I had to start doing my own thing. And I always have done my own thing. And that's why it's pretty much easy for me to discuss business and different ways of surviving and making money. There's a lot of people that go to school, get a job, work for someone else, which is fine. But there's not that many people on the planet that actually know how to do something from scratch. There's lots of people who are successful, but they're successful for a little bit different reasons. And then there's a bunch of people, millions of people, who have busted their behind creating their own sources of income and working 16 hours a day, 20 hours a day for themselves, barely making it for a year or two, only to find out it took 4 years before they became successful. Let's see. That's right, Curtis. Do you think financial literacy and entrepreneurship connected? Yes, exactly. Because once you understand the financials, then you start realizing, like I said, even if you have a nice job, like I'm a California kid. Let's just say I'm lucky enough to have lived in the Bay Area. I went to college in the Bay Area. So the incomes that people earn in the San Francisco Bay Area is totally out of whack compared to most of the rest of the United States. When you can make 130, $150,000 and you're only 23, 24 years old, bodyguard, how you doing, man? When you're like my nephew, for instance, I'll give you a perfect example. Forget about me. Yeah, you know what it's like in Santa Cruz. I feel bad for you, man. I don't like Santa Cruz that much. It's out in the middle of nowhere, but it's cool if you're staying there for a few days. And also that UC Santa Cruz that they started is cool too. But um, the other thing is the my nephew. He went to LSU, and the reason why is because they had EA Sports on the campus. So he graduates from there. He has the same thing. He's one hell of a brainiac, and because there's millions of people graduated, he went and tried to find a job. And luckily for him, he had skills just to take any old job. We're probably going to find out if this is going to freeze on me or not. But he didn't just take any old job, luckily. So what he did was he went to go work in Chicago, I believe it was, for like a temporary agency, or he had a choice. And the choice was very interesting. He calls me up and he says, "Hey, Unc, oh yeah, way to go, bodyguard. I told you, man. I'm glad you're listening to me. I'm glad you're listening to me. Way to go. People don't believe what I'm telling them, and I'm glad you were able to get in that NFCU as well. So that's awesome, man. Congratulations. I'm glad to hear this. And now just make sure you keep that 10K in your pocket. Use just 5% of it, 3% of it, because the sky's the limit. They'll increase your limit after you use it just a little bit, 5% of it, and then pay it off after, the 30 days comes out. And then you'll get an increase after 6 months to a year, and just keep rolling. Congratulations. So yeah, my nephew went to go to Chicago to work for a temporary place because he wasn't able to get paid what he wanted. Then he calls me up and he says, "Hey, Unc, do you think I should work for EA Sports in Louisiana, or do you think I should go work in a temporary place in San Francisco?" Now let's get real, everybody. In San Francisco, where they have all these companies that create money out of thin air, or are you going to go hang out in Baton Rouge or wherever EA Sports headquarters is in Louisiana that has no Silicon Valley near it? So the bottom line is, I told them Silicon Valley has an upside. And by the way, they were paying him over $100,000 a year at 23 years old if he goes to the Bay Area versus Louisiana, where incomes are a lot lower. They're only talking about 40,000 or 45,000. So again, I had to give him that speech about being a free agent. Even if you love EA Sports, even if that was your passion that you wanted to do, you had no choice but to come to the San Francisco Bay Area because it's an upside. All these kids over here from aging 23 to 30 are creating companies, and they're creating companies that they're getting millions of dollars. So, yeah, bodyguard, you got to do the increase your credit score. Just check your credit score. Once it gets up to around 740, 750, something like that, then you can rest on your laurels because then you can apply for anything and you'll get approved for everything. So, if you have to, in order to increase, um, if you have to increase your credit, then get the new, My Jewelers, New Coast Direct, boost it up. You can never have a high enough credit score, especially in today's society. You never know when things could go bad, and I'll give a little story about that. But anyhow, it all turns out for my nephew. This is why I always did my own thing. So he came over here. He worked for Bank of America in downtown San Francisco. Um, and he worked there for like 2 years. All of a sudden, he gets a call from Snapchat. Their headhunter said, "Hey, we hear you do good things over here. Come on down to LA and hang out. We got you a spot on the beach, and they upped his pay by about $30,000 more. And so to this day, he now works for Snapchat, and he got back to San Francisco because actually he likes San Francisco better than the L.A., which I figured I told him he would if he's a geek and a business guy, because LA is so crowded to get around, and there's a bunch of other things about LA. But anyhow, he came back to the Bay Area, and the first thing he did was he was saving his money like he should have been, and he invested in a duplex on the other side of the bay. He bought a duplex, and he's renting out one side, so now he has passive income coming in. And that's how you do it. This is what we talk about on Stop Struggling Now. That's right. So he's got the game plan, and now he's about 4 or 5 years older now. So he's done very well. He's doing great. And he has investment property, real estate. Now, as far as, hold on, let me get back to some of this. Somebody was asking me a question and I missed about starting a, what was that? Starting the, what was that? I didn't want to, I deleted somebody's message by accident. Didn't mean to. Bodyguard, I deleted your message. I don't know why. Oh, the doctor. Yes, how can I start a credit repair company? I would suggest you do not start a credit repair company. The reason why I say that is, I'll give you the reasons why I help people with credit repair. If any of you are new, welcome. Oh, by the way, how can I forget? Since I have everybody here, don't forget we have merch. You got to go to the StopStrugglingNow.com website, and you got to get yourself the merch. I have some new merch coming out in about 2 to 3 weeks. I have to go back to Florida and get it printed up. I'm not using these online print services, so that's not how we do it. But doctor, the reason why I don't do the credit repair full-blown service is because it takes time. There's people out there that'll tell you I can get your credit repaired in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, but that's not the norm. You can start a credit repair business because basically it's a high rate. 60 to 70% of the population has bad credit. So if you can help people out, that's a good thing. So you can start a credit repair business, no problem. The thing, though, is the proper way to do it is you have to dispute items of information with the credit bureaus, and they can take 30 days to respond. And after the 30 days, you'll get a letter in the mail saying they took it off or they're not going to take it off. It's been confirmed. And it'll be around 40 days, a month and a half. And then you dispute it again, and now you're waiting. That's another month and a half. So basically, it's 3 months, 2.5 to 3 months just to possibly get something removed. And you cannot guarantee that it's going to be removed. That's the thing. I don't like trying to guarantee to people if they have 5 or 6 things bad on their credit report that I'm going to be able to get all 5 or 6 off, because sometimes you can only get 2 or 3 or 4 off and you can't get them all off. But if you want to start a credit repair business, it's simple enough. And by the way, you don't even have to. You can partner with somebody else. There's other people online that actually have a credit repair agencies and things like that where you can do credit repair. I, for one, also do the authorized user trade lines, as you all know. And sometimes I throw in free credit repair for them when they get AU trade lines. Usually when somebody gets an AU trade line over, let me see, the last one was if you got it over $795. Then I threw in help with your credit if you needed it for free. But generally, that's why I don't do a credit repair myself. Plus the fact there's no upside with funding, by the way. When you call yourself XYZ Credit Repair or XYZ Credit Consultant, XYZ Financial, whatever, for business funding, you generally are going to be, underwriters don't like to give out funding for when you're in the financial business. That's one of the reasons. But if you want to start one, of course, by all means, you can. And you can learn basics because it is basics. And then there's some other people you should start going to, like there's a credit con, credit, CREDIT con, CON, things like that, where you get to meet other people in the industry, and then you can streamline it to where you might run into lawyers who specialize in getting things removed, and they'll take a fee for it where you don't have to do it yourself. So that's one way to do it. It's kind of easy. So there's lots of different ways you can do this. But yeah, welcome everybody. Thank you for coming. I haven't been able to be on the live stream for a while. That's right, Curtis. Whatever you do, yeah, I split time in Cali and in Florida. Whatever you do, uh, no matter what business you do, you have to gain knowledge. So therefore, you have to learn. No matter what, there's always some learning because there's always new laws, new businesses that come out, new competition. So this is why you always are on the constant grind to learn and maybe even get a leg up on the competition. Because if your competition isn't where you are, such as a credit conference or credit con or any place like that, you're getting information that they're not, and you're able to surpass them possibly from a business standpoint. Plus, you'll be able to improve your own business and your longevity. So you're always learning. So that's the thing to do. And by the way, I should mention everybody, speaking of Florida, in about a month, it's less than a month. I've said this in a previous video. You know how I like to invite people to once in a lifetime events, and the Super Bowl this year is in Miami. So if anybody's going to be in Miami, there is a caveat though. There's an asterisk. You would have had to have gotten an authorized user trade line, or use the business builders program, join that and signed up. That's the only way I'm going to let you come in with me. It won't cost you anything to get into these things. And as long as you're in Miami, that's what we can do. And the other thing is, regarding credit repair, I do have a video that basically I just explained to people how you do it on the simplest form. So I did that about 2 months ago. So you have to look through the videos and you'll find it. But basically, you mail in letters and just what I described earlier. As far as credit repair, that's like I said, that's an area that takes some time, energy, and effort to get done, and months. Don't listen to anybody that says I can get your credit all repaired up in 30 days or anything like that. They can get some of it removed, but not all of it. I missed a lady named Melinda was on here at my other live stream I did that failed earlier, and I don't know if she's still here because I can't see the feed for the for the chat on here. Let me see if I can pull this up. There we go. Yeah, I can't see it. I can't see any messages on here. But anyhow, if anybody else has any questions, I'm here to answer on any topic almost. And feel free. Almost, like I said before, almost any topic. There's some topics that are off limits, but almost any topic we can talk about, whether it's business, whether it's real estate, whether it's building credit, whether it's mortgage, funding, you name it, we can talk about it. Or we can just shoot the breeze for a little bit, because I rarely do that since I rarely have been able to get it a live feed. But now I see I'm not going to be able to use my computer for live feeds. I'm going to have to use my phone like I've always used my phone, which means now I'm going to have to upgrade my phone. So that's something I'm going to have to do in a few weeks. I just always kept this phone. It's a Note 4. It's because I wanted to show everybody who thinks that you need to go out and spend a lot of money in order to be on YouTube or make your social media videos and do things like that. You don't need $1,000 phone. You don't need a $500 phone. I believe a Note 4, which is what I've been using for the last year and a half for everything I'm doing, even posting on our Stop Struggling Now social media websites, I'm doing everything on a Note 4, and all the apps are on a Note 4. And that's all I'm using. So there's nobody has an excuse to not being able to market their products and not being able to use social media to your advantage and leverage your time and leverage it to make more money while you're sleeping. And a note 4, by the way, even when I started a year and a half ago, it was only about $125. And I'm just saying that phone was built in 2013. And this is the phone that you're watching me on now. That's why it's kind of grainy, because the front camera is only probably 5 megabytes or something. So who knows, megapixels. So who knows? So we'll see. But anyhow, that's the reason why I've always kept this phone, because I want to prove to everybody that you can start something. And we just now got up to 4,000 subscribers annually. 4,000 subscribers happened on January 1st. So we'll see how far we can go up until January 1st of 2021. And by the way, speaking of January 2021, I made a video right before New Year's Eve, and I invited people to New York City for the 2020 ball drop, December 31st, at Majestic Cafe, 50th and 7th Avenue. That's right. And Curtis, you'll like that. I get around, man. The owner of the place is so nice and sweet, and we bypass standing out in the bullpen out in the cold weather for since 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. in the day, because remember, the ball drops at Times Square, and that's around what, 42nd or 41. So in reality, we're only 6 blocks up, 7 blocks up, and we're sitting inside eating, drinking, having a nice time, while everybody's sitting outside freezing, because they block the streets off so you can't come up there. So and they block the streets off like 2 or 3 in the day. So everybody, I'm giving you a heads up if you're going to New York City and want to watch the ball drop, because you want to get a pass from Majestic Cafe, and it does cost $125, and he gives you you get to stay in there and a bottle of champagne and some of the party festivities. You got to buy the food yourself in there, but the food is relatively inexpensive for being in New York City. I mean, you can get sandwiches and everything for under $10. He's got soup, sandwiches, food. Everything is fresh. It's awesome. So you got to go to that place, even if it's not New Year's Eve. Majestic Cafe at 50th and 7th in New York City on Manhattan. So I shouldn't say New York City. I should say Manhattan. But the thing is, that's where you got to be next year. And if you're there, and again, if you're a client, so to speak, where you bought an authorized user Tradeline, if you got a business builder program, if you did some other business with me, I'm paying your way in. I'm like the only YouTuber that's going to try and bring their subscribers to where he's at and pay your way in as long as you can get there. So hopefully everybody can enjoy that. Now, let me get to some questions. Anybody else have any questions? Let me go see if I can, I can't see on my phone any questions, but I can see on my computer. Checking, I'm still signing up. Oh, okay. Katina, the credit lady. All right. Oh, Credit Strong, Bodyguard. Okay, I can see some stuff now. Credit Strong. Yeah, they cut off the $10,000 trade line that they were giving out December 23rd. So now all you can do is get 1,000, 2,000, and 5,000 trade line. And yes, they do post. They work exactly like self-lender. So it's the same thing. You're basically putting in some money, and it goes towards a savings account. They take a fee, and they actually charge you interest, and they report whatever trade line you pick, whether it's the 1,000, the 2,000, or the 5,000. That'll be reported on your credit report, and that'll help with your debt utilization. So, or it'll help with your payment history as well. This the payment history that is 35% of your credit score. So that's what you actually want to get, get that situated, and that helps you out. And they still have no credit check. Everybody should be approved. Although somebody said that they didn't get approved, which I don't know how that happened, but they said it was like a year and a half, 2 years ago. So maybe back then it was a little bit different. But right now, if you have bad credit and you need to boost your score up, there's a way with them. Even if you have a low credit score in the 400s, it won't matter because they'll approve you. So that's what you need right there. And that's why it's in my video regarding anybody that filed bankruptcy, because most of the time your credit score is decimated and you can't qualify for any type of credit cards or anything like that most of the time. So in order to boost your score up, you need to go to places that do not check your credit. And Credit Strong is one of them. They do not check your credit or do a hard inquiry. So therefore, that's a good thing. So you got to pay for it, because most people do not understand when you have bad credit, you're actually paying more money in interest for cars, for homes, for these high ticket items. And that costs a lot of money in interest. In fact, while I have this topic, most people don't realize you got to start thinking about the power of 72. Okay, think about that, whether you're making money or when you go out and get loans. So I'll keep this pretty simple for you. Let's say I got a $100,000 loan and it's 7% interest. 7 divided into 72 is 10. That means every 7 years I owe and I paid $100,000. So did you guys hear me on that? The power of 72. If you get a 7% loan of $100,000, at the end of 10 years, you paid double. You paid $100,000. You can do the amortization tables online and you can go see for yourself. This is why I always find it interesting when people say they bought a house, a 30-year loan, the big scam of the century. They bought a 30-year loan and they say, I have a 4%, 3%, 5% interest. Well, you still have to divide that by 72. And sure, it might take, 5% will be what, 14, 15, somewhere right there. 14 years is double your money. So again, that $100,000 house is worth $200,000. You paid $200,000 halfway through. So now when you sell the house and you say, hey, I sold the house for $175,000, you're going, hey, I made 75 grand. But in reality, you did not. You already paid that in the interest and the principal. You've already paid it. So in reality, you did not make $75,000. And that's where the misconception comes in, and people think that they created wealth when in fact they threw all the wealth out the window. And it would have been better off if you had just said, hey, you know what, instead of that down payment that you need of 10% for a $300,000 house, which is 30 grand, that you went down and said, maybe I should use 10 grand and get an FHA fourplex and put down 3.5%, live in that one side of the fourplex for a year and have passive income coming in from that point on for the rest of your life, and you control real estate. And as you know, rental property, you can always increase the rent. It's just natural. It's going to go up because everything goes up. Water, sewer, and garbage goes up. So you're going to charge people more money as years go by, and that just means more money in your pocket. And now you have streams of income while you're sleeping, which, by the way, this year we're working on those 7 streams of income, everybody. So I'm going to have to look down and see what else in case somebody has some questions. Yes, Curtis Davis, I do buy stocks. Some of you have missed some of my stock videos. And quite frankly, I don't talk about stocks too often because only a certain percentage of the population invest in the stock market. And the stocks I like, AT&T, the reason why, because they give dividends. Apple, reason why, government protected. Ford, reason why, because they give dividends. Companies that give dividends, I used to like GE until they went to their penny dividend. I did videos. Basically, I'm going to have a video coming out next week based on stocks, because people think of stocks as I'm going to buy a stock at $5 and then I'm going to wait around as the stock goes up to, let's say, $10 over who knows how long. It could be 2 years, 1 year, 6 months, 15 years, or never. And then meanwhile, you could be earning dividends coming in every 3 months to your bank account or to your brokerage account. This is what Warren Buffett has done. This is why he owns lots of shares in things like Coca-Cola, Geico, things like that. You have your money work for you while you're sleeping, going on about your business. So this is why I think I've only done 3 or 4 videos talking about the stock market. And my last thing that I bought, the only thing that I remember I bought was the AT&T. And at the time in the video, I think we were at $33 or $34 a share, and they give 50 cents every 3 months is their dividend payout. So once you realize that you can reinvest the dividend as well, so you can start doing the numbers. If you had 10 shares, which would have been $340 at the time, and then at the 3 months later, they're sending me 10 times 50, which is $5. What you do is you reinvest the $5. You set your account on automatic because you don't want the money. So you reinvest, and now you own not only 10 shares, but you own like a 10.2, 10.1 shares. But once you reinvest, every 3 months, you're getting reinvested. And if you go by that number, basically I'm buying 1 share, almost 2 shares if it was stayed at 30, but it's went up since then. It's hovered up around 40 now. But anyhow, if you had 10 shares and you got $5 every 3 months, you can see at about a year and a half you'll have another share, and you're using their money to make more money. And that's the whole reason why Berkshire Hathaway, which is Warren Buffett's hedge fund, as I call it, slush fund really, that's why his company generates so much money every year, because he invested in companies when their stocks were only $2 or $3. Invested in Apple when it was $100 a share, for instance, or $50 a share. And when it's split and things like that, you get more shares. So anyhow, the stock market's very interesting. Everybody should invest, but I suggest investing in stocks that give you dividends. So every 3 months, you have checks coming in. And by the way, dividend income is taxed lower than any personal W-2s. It's taxed lower than your LLC. It's taxed lower. So you want your income to be dividend, or you want capital gains. So when you're an investor in real estate and you're flipping property, if you do it right, that's why you should have an LLC when you're buying property, because now again, capital gains tax, that's less than any personal tax. It's single digits. Huge difference. Single digits versus 20, 25%. That's huge. And it's money that you generated. So if you have $100,000 profit and all you had to do was pay $7,000 in taxes, or $5,000 in taxes versus $25,000 in taxes, that's a huge difference. Your wealth is getting siphoned off if you don't know the proper way to do investment and make your money work for itself. This is why all the rich people stay rich, and that's why they have these tax codes that everybody thinks that Congress is running around trying to help poor people, when in fact Congress is running around trying to help the wealthy people keep their money. You're just a byproduct. You're supposed to work and help these wealthy people. I won't even get on that soapbox, but we have to talk about it sometime, right? Because we all want to be in the top 1%. That's the best place to be. Carrot bars, no-go zone for me. Why? Carrot bars, let's just face facts. Go look at the price of gold, and then you say, okay, I want a gram of gold is 15, well, it's probably, it's around $1,450 or $1,500 an ounce. That's fine. But at Carrot Bars, because they run it as a business organization and where they have to make money, they charge you more than the $1,500 an ounce. They're adding on an extra vig for themselves. So that's why I don't like it. So if you had to buy a tenth of an ounce with carrot bars, it's not going to be $150. They're going to try to charge you like $200. I've checked it out before because I thought it might be a business opportunity for everybody here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And that's the reason why I didn't do it. Because after I looked at them, I didn't like how they add a whole bunch of extra money for something that I can go to AppMex or SD Bouillon and just get the same thing for $1 or $2 over the price. Meanwhile, like I said, Carrot Bars International, they're trying to charge people 25, 30, 40, $50 more because they're trying to pay out people because it has like a networking affiliate, uh, network marketing type deal going on with them. So no, I'm not down with Carrot Bars. Curtis, oh my man, Verizon, Microsoft, AT&T. That's right. Curtis just tipped you up on some game. They all give dividends, and they all had an upside over the last, geez, 10, 15 years. Um, so even if they're at all-time highs right now, but they still kick dividends, which is the beauty of it. It's not normal stock. So I'll repeat. Curtis just hit up Microsoft. I have Verizon. I have AT&T. I have all good because they all kick dividends and every 3 months. So they kick dividends different months. And what most people don't understand is this is how the wealthy stay wealthy is that because it kicks dividends every different month. So you could get a dividend in April from one company. You can get a dividend in February from another company, get a dividend in March from another company, and start the cycle all over again. So imagine if you had 10 shares of stock that kicks dividends every month. And all you do is put everything on the rebuy program because you're using their money to buy more shares and then find out where you're at 5 to 10 years later. Things such as oil companies, they always seem to be a good share too. But Curtis got you up the Verizons, the Microsoft, the Apples, the AT&Ts. They're kicking dividends until, of course, one day when if they, if their stocks start crashing and burning and their businesses start diving, then they'll cut off the dividends. But as long as they're paying dividends, that's where everybody should be, and you should not be paying attention to the stock market every day. That's where people get messed up and screwed because you'll look at your stock like about 8 months ago, Apple got into something. I can't remember what it was. Their shares were roughly $220, 210, something like that. All of a sudden, their shares dropped to 175. You know how many people were selling Apple at that time? And then Apple's back over 200, hitting record highs right now. So can you imagine all those people that are kicking themselves now that they dumped the Apple stock? They should have kept it. That's why you shouldn't even pay attention. Just go on about your business, let it reinvest on its own. And by the way, you should always use some of your own money to add to it because the more money you have over there where it's creating its own income, the better. That's one of the 7, 8 streams of incomes that millionaires have. That's right. Right, Curtis, assets. You got it exactly right. That's right. OMF, MRZ. Exactly. I see you're on top of it. I see you're on top of it, Curtis. That's it exactly. There's only a few people that actually invest in stocks because you can't see it. It's basically gone in thin air. You can't touch it. You can't just withdraw it like tomorrow, like it's your own bank account. So a lot of people don't like to invest in stocks and they don't like investing in black hole, as I call it, gold and silver as well, because it's not liquid. It's not like you can just go and withdraw it. It's getting that way more and more with stocks now because now you can do transactions less than 24 hours. You can be liquid with your shares of stock, but you might be hit up with some sort of capital gains if you had enough shares. But anyhow, top 1%, Apple, right? 288. Like I said, I don't even pay attention. I just buy the ones. When it was 175, I didn't get in again. I had to wait. I was dummy. I had to wait till 195. And when the shares split like 3 years ago, they went from like 150 to $75. And I was telling all my friends before I started YouTube, I told all my friends, get your shares. They were all like, nah, it just went down. I said, no, it went down because it split. They split their shares. So therefore, they just split them in half so it would cost less. And now's the time to buy it, 75. And all my friends sat there, not all, but a large percentage of them didn't understand what was going on. And I picked up uh, quite a large amount of Apple at the time, and the rest is history. We're all loving life now. But those are the kind of things that you have to look at. Tesla, yeah, AMD, you always have to keep an eye on them because they're a company that's always trying to be innovative, and they are innovative. And their stock price is underpriced, in my opinion. As far as Tesla goes, Tesla is another one of those stocks that went way down. They were getting a beating. Elon Musk was getting handed his ass by the SEC. He had to step aside, do all kind of jump through hoops, and their stock went down. But of course, it's going to be back up. They're government approved. They get subsidized. I just don't invest in Tesla myself. I just don't like kind of what they're doing. I mean, all that money that they've spent and they're burning through cash like there's no tomorrow, and their development isn't progressing with the amount of cash they're burning. Yeah, thanks, Curtis. Yeah, 359. They're right back up where they were before their little crash, which you knew that would happen. And this gives me an idea about to talk about something else because I like this discussion, because I rarely don't even do this on my video because not that many people do investments in the stock market on my channel. But that's why I only have, like I said, 3 or 4 videos. But uh, those are the kind of things that happens that people don't understand because you're working 9 to 5, and when you're working 9 to 5, you're at a job. So you don't get to take advantage of situations that come up like this. You don't know that Apple got a split. You don't know when Tesla and Elon Musk got in trouble that their shares basically went down a third of not a third, but a fourth of the price. You don't know that Apple did their split, like I said, and you don't know that GE got in trouble with their accounting, and instead of giving out their usual 25 cents on dividends, now they dropped it to 1 cent. You wouldn't know any of this, and that's why people get a little hurt sometimes when they're 9 to 5 workers or have a job and you can't pay attention. And this is why the Warren Buffetts of the world, they invest in the companies that are the number ones. So like the Verizons, the Comcast, the Coca-Colas, the Geicos, these are large cap companies that he invests in that gives dividends. And therefore he always has his money working for it. And that's why his shares in Berkshire Hathaway are probably still like, oh, what, a couple $1,000s. It's crazy. But anyhow, let's see. What else do we have here? Yeah, multiple streams of income. There's real estate. There's capital gains. Um, there's the real estate goes with multifamily properties. Capital gains also goes with the stocks, bonds, and when you sell or deal with real estate. You have your own earned income, and that's if you have a job and you're changing your time for your job. So therefore, that's another stream of income, which is unfortunately it's based on your time. So what you want to do is you want to venture into other areas where your time doesn't matter, where you could be sitting on a beach, where you could be sick at the hospital and you still have income coming in. That's basically, just think of it that way. Is if you all of a sudden woke up in the morning and they said, hey, you have some life-threatening disease or something with you and you had to go to the hospital, will you be able to survive? That's what you have to think about. If you think that way and then you figure out that you have to have money work for you, which is what the millionaires do and the billionaires do, then you'll understand you don't want to be part of the basically 8 billion people on the planet. There's 8 billion people on the planet, and you don't want to be 6 billion people on the planet working for somebody else. All right, so let's just face facts. You just never know when something bad's going to happen. Curtis, what do you mean hoping to buy real estate? Okay, this is a good subject matter. Hoping to buy real estate. You can buy real estate at any time. People, you guys don't realize that there's several ways that you can buy real estate. So even if you have no money, I know everybody says this no money down thing. That's a myth. All these real estate gurus, you know this is the no guru zone. It is not true. When somebody says no money down, then they turn to you and will say, "Oh yeah, well borrow it from somebody." Okay, look, who's gonna have 50 grand sitting around that you know? Most people do not. And then they'll say, "Oh, turn in your 401k." I mean, okay, so where is this no money down program that you're talking about, Guru? Their their money is like, okay, well, send me 2,500, come to my course, and I'll show you how to do it. And you're like, wait a minute, I thought you were telling me you already know how to do this stuff. You know how I feel about this. Why would somebody charge for information that can help other people make money? That just seems like an oxymoron to me, especially when it's a one-time event. So if I teach you how to buy real estate, you'll know how to buy real estate from that point on. That would be interesting. I'll pay you $2,000, $2,500 for that course. But 9 times out of 10, when you pay for these courses, they don't give you the full 100%. And therefore, you're now looking for more answers. And that's when they say, okay, come to our one-on-one session, but that's going to cost you $5,000. Because they had to leave out some of the information so they can keep extracting money from you. And what you really don't know is most of these gurus who have these courses, the reason why they never show you their tax returns or their income is because 9 times out of 10, most of their money is made from the information they're selling. And from the information they're selling, then they go out and buy other assets. But they don't tell you that. They're telling you the other way around. They're acting like they bought all these assets and then now they're being generous and charging you $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 to give you the information. And so that's why they never show you where they're making $1.5 million selling information at their seminars. But anyhow, that's why this is the no guru zone. I tell you how to do it all, no charge. Except for, of course, I have that business credit builder program. But the only reason I'm offering that is because there's some people who need a step-by-step program and they want to make phone calls to people that can help them with building their business credit. And so therefore that has a value. And once you do that, you will know how to build your business credit for the rest of your life. There's no upsell. It's just a one-time thing. Even though on this channel, I tell you how to build business credit starting from scratch. But ultimately, there's other things that go on. And once you learn it once, is that worth $1,000 or $1,500 to you? It's up to you to decide. But you actually go on your computer and you go step by step for each funding method all the way until you get business funding. And you have people on the phone that you can call. It's not me personally, it's another company that does it. So therefore, I make money while I sleep. Somebody else can answer the phone and tell you how to do it and give you advice. So that's part of the program, and it's not for a month either. You get that for a year. And your business funding, you can talk about that for 5 years. So once you get your business credit right, you have business funding options for up to 5 years that you can call people on the phone and say, hey, what does the underwriter need? What materials do I have to send in to get my $75,000 business funding or business credit loan or line of credit? It's that simple. That's why I'm charging for that. So this is no upsell deal. This is a one-time thing, and you learn at your own pace and you have somebody to talk to. So just wanting to let you know. Let's see what else we got here. Can you get paid from air and water rights? Yes. 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 It is true. It is true. here's what happens. The reason why you hear about it is because the rich people don't want to tell you about it. First of all, nobody's going to show up at your house and be like, hey, you know, your house is out here in the pasture and I'm going to give you $300,000 for it. And the reason why I am is because you didn't know that there's some oil underneath here and you have mineral rights underneath. And by the way, that new airport's coming in right over there, and now you have air rights, and you don't realize what you have, and a lot of people don't. And that's something that in most major cities, like study New York City. New York City, parcels of land have air rights, and people use that to make millions of dollars. And not only New York City, but if you study New York City, you'll see, because New York City is so big with all the boroughs and everything, you'll understand why property values are so expensive, is because people are taking advantage of what's below the ground and what's above the ground. It is true. Curtis, 680 will qualify for anything. You can qualify for a mortgage, and it doesn't, a 680 won't even really matter if you're talking about multifamily property or commercial property, because you're still going to have to put down 25%. There's no way around it unless you got a FHA loan, but an FHA loan only goes so far. It'll only let you get up to a fourplex. You can get a duplex. Well, you can buy a single family home, a duplex, a triplex, or a fourplex. That's all you can get with an FHA, and all you need is 3.5% down. I like to say 4% down, because there's going to be closing costs. Unless you can get the seller to pay those. You never know. You can try it. But yeah, 680, you can buy anything. You can buy a house, you can buy whatever you want. That's not a problem. No problem. No problem. Thank you. So, anyhow, yeah, so air rights and all that, that's not a problem. And they do exist, Joshua Felder. They do exist. So these are the little things that the wealthy don't want people to know. I'll give you something else. You know, the water that you have in your bottles, and you're paying uh, money for water? Billionaires own the aquifers. That's why you're paying money for the waters. They have to get paid. They monetize everything. And now their families, their trust is going to get paid for generations to come, unless, of course, the aquifer dried up. But they're taken care of for a long time, generations, generational wealth. Let's see what else we got over here. Yeah, so Curtis, about that real estate, just let me know. You can always send me an email at Eric at stopstrugglingnow.com. Again, Eric at stopstrugglingnow.com. And tell me what you're talking about with real estate, and we can talk about it for a second. No problem. I do have I get things in my email every day for places in like the Midwest, Ohio, and mainly Ohio, Cincinnati, the city of Cincinnati, Cleveland, and people still send me multifamily offers all the time. And some are just three plexes, four plexes, which is perfect for FHA, and they're not that expensive. So if your credit score won't even really come into play, because in FHA you can have a 600 credit score. So just letting you know. Oil wells. Yeah, if you can get your hands on one, that would be good. You're welcome, Joshua. Thank you for being a subscriber. Thank you for being a supporter, man. I appreciate it. You know, thank you, everybody, because we just now, like I said earlier, hit 4,000 subscribers. And who knew when I started this adventure a year and a half ago? I just showed up on the scene because I got tired of telling a few of my friends what was going to happen, and what they should be doing to protect themselves when this economy goes bad. And then I said, you know what? I need to start something. And then YouTube was available. And that's why I started it, because there's so much information that people don't know, and they're slaving away, and they will never find out the information until it's too late. So I said, you know what? I need to start something so I can at least get more than just a handful of my friends, and help out, hopefully, not just 10 or 20 people, but hopefully we can do thousands of people. So thank you, everybody, for your support. And thank you for sharing, and thank you for telling other people. And I have no problem. You can always send me a message. Some people find my phone numbers and call me. So I answer. I don't charge fees. I don't have a consulting agency, not for individuals. If a business calls me up, that's a whole nother story. And I charge hefty, just so you know. But for just anybody calling me up and needing a little help, I have no problem with that, because, I always say this, high tide, a rising tide lifts all boats. So if we have 1,000 people barely making it, or if we have 1,000 people who are being successful, as the more people that we can make successful, the better everyone's life will be. Nobody would have any reason not to help other people. Nobody's going to sit there and say, well, I can't help because I'm trying to be too stingy. As long as everybody's trying to help, then that just, pay it forward. Anybody else have any questions? Thank you, everybody, for being here. I'm going to go back up and see if I missed any previous questions. Let's see. Anybody? Let's see if I missed anything. I don't see anything here that I've missed, oh, wait, I have missed something. Thank you. Thank you, Gretchen. I appreciate your comment. Yes, that's the idea that I was hoping for, is that there are a lot of people that have information, they have knowledge, and they just don't ever really think about sharing it. And usually there's not a forum, because most of the time in America, people do not talk about money. In fact, around the world, people mostly do not talk about money, because remember that 50% of the planet makes less than $5.50 a day. 3.5 billion people make less than $5.50 a day. So their priorities are different. They're thinking of family and friendship means a lot more than money. Money can't buy it. In America and Europe and places where it's consumer oriented, money is the root of all evil, because anybody can show up with cars, homes, because you can buy all these items on credit, you can rent them, you can do whatever you want. And people are basing what you have and the way you look as to whether you're a good person or not, when in fact, it's on the inside that matters, and it's your integrity, and it's things of that nature that really matters the most. The money, that doesn't really matter. If a person's an asshole, they're going to be an asshole whether they're broke or whether they have millions of dollars. That's just the way it is. So, if you want to make the world a better place, then that should be the objective. Does anybody else have any questions? This is an open question and answer series today. And once again, what else can we talk about? For all the new people that have joined, don't forget to go to our website and get the merch. You can see here the merch. You just go to stopstrugglingnow.com, and we have the merch for sale right now. For everybody on the live stream, 20% off. You got to have the promo code, all caps, New Year's. And it's free shipping and no sales tax. So what else can I say? And the t-shirts start at $25. That's it. They're $25. And the hoodie is $45. And they have the motivational sayings on them. And we're going to have 2 new ones coming out in the month of January in 2 weeks. Once I get back to Florida. So that's how that's going to work out. So don't forget about the merch. Don't forget that if you're on here and you can't always get to the YouTube channel because you're at work or you're just somewhere where you just don't want to watch the YouTube, we have the podcast. Stop Struggling Now podcast. It's on iTunes. It's on iHeartRadio. It's on a few other places. But this will give me a chance to plug Buzzsprout. How this all started was Buzzsprout gives you a free podcast for 90 days. They give you up to 2 hours of an upload, and it's free for 90 days. That's how I started it. So I'll have a link down below after this video starts, because I don't know what the link is right now, so I can't put it in. But on the previous video on Road to Millions, or if you go to the Facebook group at Stop Struggling Now group, and you can get there by going to facebook.com/groups with an S, and then / Stop Struggling Now group. You can go there and you can see on that page where I have links for the podcast. For Buzzsprout. And that's the link. So I'd appreciate if you use my link to go over there, because I get what they call the affiliate money if somebody decides to sign up and beyond the 3 months of free service. But anyhow, they teach you how to get to iTunes, to iHeart, to Stitcher, to other podcast sites. And for everybody who's shy with a camera and doesn't want to be on camera, well, then you can use your voice. And you can invite other people onto your podcast. And that OBS, Streamlabs OBS, that's something. StreamYard.com, that actually can stream two-way with video. So if you feel comfortable with streaming with video with somebody else, you can upload the voice track to Buzzsprout. And it turns it into a podcast. So basically, I turn all the videos, I just upload them to Buzzsprout, and instead of having the video portion, it just runs the audio portion. So it's that simple. Or, hey, let's get down to the real deal. You can use your phone. You can use your phone to record your voice if you want to talk. There's ways you can do it. As long as you have the voice track, all you have to do is upload it to Buzzsprout, and now you have your own podcast, and now you can invite other guests on at your own time, your own discretion, and do it however you want to do it. And then you can build that way. So that's just a suggestion. That's what we're trying to do. Help everybody out, right? That's right. It is a sick world. Okay, doctor. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but Dr. Katchen. Flipping homes. That was a thing in the last 7 to 10 years. Or not 7 to 10 years, but the last 7 years. 2012, if you bought property, your asset has increased in value. The days of being able to flip and wholesale is starting to come to an end. Once home prices start going down, you're not going to be able to wholesale and flip homes and make a nice tidy profit. If you want to make $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 trying to wholesale deals, that's fine. But you'd be better off actually working out real deals. In other words, you still have to get, when you're doing flipping and wholesaling, you're still going to have to be able to control the property. So why control the property? And let's just say a wholesale deal, right? I'll give a wholesale deal for everybody who's may not know what we're talking about. So we see I'll just call it a house. We see a home in an area that, for whatever reason, we can pick it up for around $60,000. The value of the house is 100. So wholesaling means that I'm going to control the property, and then I'm going to find somebody else that'll buy it from me for maybe 65 or 70 or 75, and then they'll buy it. But I'm saying, Well, why, if I control the property for 60, then why don't I try to make the 40, right? That's all I'm trying to say. I'm trying to figure out a way that I can control that so I can flip it, like we'll use the flip term, so we can flip it where instead of me making $5,000 or $10,000, I can make 30,000 and still give somebody a deal and make 30,000. So that was my whole thing. And when property values start going down, which they will, in fact, they've already started, your margin for being able to wholesale and your margins for being able to flip are going to start coming down. And then what do you do once you're at the part, what happened in 2008, 2009, what are you going to do then after that when now you can't flip nor can you wholesale? A lot of people got left holding the bag in 2006, 7, and 8 when they were doing flipping, and that was all the rage. They had to, they're out of business. So that's just a thought. But there's nothing wrong with trying to flip something. It's just that you're going to control it either way. And also, depending on what state you live in, you may or may not be able to do the true sense of the word flip or wholesale. In California, for instance, you cannot do that because in order to control the property, you have to actually own the property outright, and trying to flip a house or I mean wholesale a house is a lot harder because you can't do what we used to be able to do in the old days. I'll give some people some old day real estate lesson. We can't do this now. Once again, they've changed the laws. But in the old days, I could go down and put down $1 for a deal to buy real estate. I could then, and I'll use the same example. I could say, hey, I'm going to get this real estate. You agree, $1 deposit. We'll close in 90 days. And now we'll open escrow. While I'm controlling this property for $1, I go out and I do two things. A, I go to a realtor to find somebody to buy the house outright. And B, I'm looking for what they now call wholesaling, another person that'll buy it from me for 10, 20, whatever, more money. But I have 90 days to do that because I didn't have to buy the property outright. And trust me, in an environment like we are in now, where people are actually looking, there's investors, I could off the property for 70 grand within probably 2 weeks, go on about my business, and all I had to do was put down $1. And when the guy comes in and pays $70,000, they're cutting me a check. They're cutting me a check for 10, and they're giving the owner his $60,000. Now in California, for instance, I would have had to buy the property. We can't flip it in escrow anymore. And there's a lot of states that you can't do that now. There's still some states that you can actually do what I just described, though. I don't know what those states are because I don't live anywhere. I don't hang out in other states and buy real estate in other states, so I don't know. But in other states that allow you to do what I'm talking about. But anyhow, that's my thought on wholesaling and flipping. If you're going to do that, you better get busy right now. Don't wait, because another 7, 8 months, I don't think we'll be able to make a nice profit as you can now. Uh-oh. Hold on a minute, everybody. I got to plug up this phone. Thank you for being on here. I appreciate it. This is like the longest one live stream we've done in a while. The one live stream that I was able to do the over an hour, I had the fights playing in the background on mute, and YouTube flagged it. I had to erase it, and it was a hell of a good live as well. Just like this one, where people were asking questions that I normally don't even talk about, and I was giving out some information that could help a lot of people, and I had to take it down. It was so disgusting. All right, let's see what else we got here. Ha ha ha. Well, I teach you. Dr. Katchen, send me an email. I don't really do wholesale and flipping. I know how to do it. I can only tell you what to do, but I'm not searching for properties or multifamily properties at the moment. What's going to happen is I sold the mansion, and because I believe, I do what I believe, that I believe property values are going to go down. So therefore, in about the next, so you should be stacking money right now. All right. So what's going to happen is people are going to lose homes. People are going to lose their multifamily properties. They're all going to be up for sale, but for a third of the price. All right. A third to almost a half of the price. So therefore, if you have good credit, if you have lines of credit, if you have some way to have business funding or any type of funding, you'll be able to pick up multiple properties that are going to bring to you passive income when all this comes crashing down. So I'm prepared. And that's why I'm trying to get everybody else prepared. And that's why we talk about credit repair. That's why we talk about business funding and business credit. And that's why we talk about starting an LLC and getting all this together. Because when things come down and they say, hey, you need $25,000, you don't want to have to look for an investor. When they say you need $50,000, you don't want to have to look for an investor. When you have the deal of a century sitting here and they're saying you need $50,000 and you're like, oh man, I can't get this funded. And you're sitting there going, man, this is worth potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you can't pull the trigger, and now you're running around trying to find an investor. You don't want to be in that position. And this is all going to come crashing down, and you want to put yourself in a position to be able to take advantage of it. This is basically what all the one percenters do. When things come crashing down, they buy stuff up. That's the name of the game. You don't buy things when their prices are going up. You buy things when there's blood in the streets, when everybody's trying to unload. That's when you want to pick something up, especially when it comes to this game of real estate. So stack your money right now is what you should be doing. But yeah, Dr. Ketchen, just send me an email at eric@stopstrugglingnow.com. And I have no problem with trying to, get you on the right track. I will say this. First off, I don't have to really teach you anything. I'll just give it to everybody right now. I can tell you a few things, but here's the simplest thing. What you want to do is you want to find a commercial real estate broker, and you want to basically have them doing your footwork. So they're going to call you up saying, hey, this guy's putting his property up for sale, and this is the deal he wants. You want to be the first or second call that broker or real estate agent makes. So therefore, they have a vested interest to sell property. So to get their 3 to 6% commission, so if they have people that they know are investors, they're going to call you up on the first thing that's coming to town. You don't have to go searching for stuff. And out and about, and they're going around uh, trying to evaluate properties. Not on the market, thinking it. So they call it, so to speak. They're not listed on the MLS. And they'll saying, hey, this guy has a deal. And I'll give you the other thing. I said this in another video when I was talking about real estate, how to find real estate investors. What you do is you go down to the Real Estate Investors Club, Google it. In your city, there's always going to be a Real Estate Investors Club. And people that want to do real estate investing, you go there and mingle with these people. You hear what they have to say. You talk to them. And oftentimes these people have deals that they're talking about doing. And if they don't have deals, they're investors there. So now if you get a good rapport with these people and you find property and you want to do wholesaling or flipping, now you have a way to find people. You have a way to get an investor. You have a way to find a buyer, because now you're good friends with these people and you've been talking to these people for months or weeks. And now you found a property, you control the property. And what I mean by control the property, you control the property that they can't go around you. It's a cutthroat world out here. So what's happening is, even if you find a property and you go tell somebody, hey, I have this property here, go check it out. You don't want to go have them go check it out, because people these days, they'll go around you. There is no integrity. They will bypass you if they can. They will cut you out. So this is why I say you make sure that you control the property that's under contract so nobody else can buy it from you. A friend of mine was He did the inevitable, even though I told him, he says, I control 2.25 what the guy wants. All in, the hotel was appraised guy says the whole $1 million. My friend tells me that he has a deal. He's looking for investors because he's at 2 point. He needed whatever 25. He needed looking for investors. No, he really controlled. Nor did $20,000 or $30,000 to put down to put it in. He had nothing. So now he tells the investors the deal. He sends it over. You know what happens, right? 4. Right. They called up the owner and said, hey, man, we'll give you 2.5 right now. Of course. He got bypassed. And then they were kind enough to send him like a thank you 10 or 12 G's or something like that. Crazy. So I'm just letting you know, this is why you got to control the property. If you're going to start talking to other people, make sure they can, when it's one hell of a deal. Solid steps. 12 facts. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. No problem, doctor. Like I said, I've been doing a lot of different things my whole life in real estate. So you can imagine when these real estate guys on late night TV talking all this garbage, half of the stuff they tell you is doable, but what they don't tell you is you need funding. You need somebody that has the funding, and you're not going to be able to put no money down or little to no money down. If you want to do big deals, and especially when it comes to commercial property, just keep in your head you're going to need 20% down, 25% down. All this other stuff is just hogwash. So just keep in mind. So if you find $1 million property, you know you need $200,000. And don't fall for the old tricks. Call this transactional funding, where somebody says, send us $5,000, send us $2,500, and we'll get you $200,000 for interest only for 6 months. Don't fall for them kind of tricks. They have all these tricksters, people trying to depart you from your money because you're desperate. And you're going to send them that $5,000, that $10,000. Then they're going to fumble around, talk about missing phone calls, and talk about, oh, well, there's a problem with your what you submitted. Crazy nonsense. And they'll put in the writing that whatever you gave them is non-refundable. So you got to be careful like that. That's why you go down to the real estate places and the meetings, the Investors Club, the Real Estate Chamber of Commerce, things are like real estate chambers. And you go down there and you go talk to people. You talk to brokers. You talk to real estate agents. You talk to everybody. Get your game up on the knowledge, and then you'll know where to go to talk to people to get funding. Because you don't want to be in a situation where you find a hell of a deal and then you can't get it funded. Hey, Dr. Katchen, just hit me an email at eric@stopstrugglingnow.com. That's all you have to do. Oh man, you have a real estate license, so that means you have you have a leg up, so to speak. I'm just going to say so to speak, because what most people don't realize is once you have a real estate license, you're under the laws of the state and federal government. There's certain things that you have to disclose that you would not have to disclose if you did not have the license. Not that it's a bad thing. It's just that you have to do everything by the state where you live. You have to go by their guidelines and everything. And if you go outside of those, even by mistake, your license can be suspended temporarily or revoked. So that's why you have to be careful. And that's why a lot of investors don't even have a real estate license. But if you're going to be a realtor, then you have every right to be in every home that's locked up, because you'll be able to get in. You'll also have the listings before everybody else, and there is an advantage of being a licensed realtor because while you're out looking at property, you find clients who's trying to sell property, and just by an offshoot, you increase how much money you're going to make over the year just by being a realtor, especially if you're aggressive. When you first start out as a realtor, unless you're going to be a broker, you're going to have to work under a broker, and there's going to be requirements from that broker as well. So again, I always like to be a free agent. I do not have a real estate license myself, but it can be advantageous. It just depends on what state you're in, quite frankly. If you're in California and you're a real estate agent and broker, you have a serious advantage over other people. And if you're doing financial, a friend of mine does well, I won't say where they work at. They work at a financial agency and they help people with their retirement. This person gets so many deals across their table because people who are doing retirement, they're saying, I want to sell this. I want to invest in this. I want to get rid of this. And they don't even care about the value. They're just saying, just give me 40, 50% of the value because I made so much money. I done made 10 times the amount. So I'm just old and I want to get rid of this. I don't want to manage this stuff no more. And it's unbelievable. They haven't talked to a real estate agent. They haven't talked to anybody, but they're talking to their financial planner, the person that's investing monies and properties into trust. They're giving them all this stuff. And that person can easily just tell somebody else. And that's another person that you should talk to and get familiar with is people that work at brokerage houses, brokerage firms for commercial real estate and investments. You might want to get up there in the building and talk to people saying, I'm an investor, I'm a real estate agent, I'm trying to buy property. Let everybody know you're trying to buy property. And then they'll just start walking to you. All right. Anybody else have any further questions? Whatever you want to talk about's on the table today. I'm not shy to talk about anything, you know. Just because I only spoke about a few topics and a few subjects on the channel, it's because when we start talking about wholesaling and flipping and commercial properties, I'm going to have a video about that, and I did have a video about it, but it's extensive. There's a lot more to it. Just because you can find the property, I'm going to do a video this month because a lot of people don't understand how to evaluate if a multifamily or commercial property is worth buying. They don't know how to do the numbers. How do you get your NOI, net operating income? How do you find out if it's worth buying at a set price? So just because I'll give you the example I told you before when my friend was going to buy a $2.25 million hotel and it's appraised at 4 million. The reason why it was appraised at 4 million is because the hotel was not branded. And he already made a deal that it was going to be branded by one of the main, I don't know, like a Travel Lodge or a Days Inn or whatever. It was going to be branded. And once you're branded with that name, you're now all over the world. It'll be available online, and people stay at that branded hotel more than they will stay at just what it's entitled now, which was nothing hotel. And then with the branded hotel was guaranteeing that they were going to pay for a certain amount of occupancy and leave them on the board and management to help make decisions for the property. And they were going to allow for upgrades. So now the property was worth 4 million instead of 2.5 or 2.6. So that changed the whole dynamics. So these are the kind of things that you have to think about. Let's see here. Here goes something good. What point do you start to use your personal credit as leverage for your business credit? And okay. All right. You should always Yeah. Okay. Let's get something straight with this business funding though. So here's the idea. The business funding, if you get it in its proper place, is going to take you about a year. All right? I mean, your business credit is going to take you to bill for about a year. You're going to want your business to be about a year old. And you want your business to have revenue. While you're doing that, you also want to build your personal credit score because, like you're saying, you're going to have to use a PG oftentimes when you want some serious funding to start, which there's nothing wrong with that. But I suggest you use a PG when your company is making money because then you won't care. But here's the thing with your credit score being over 700 and with your business credit being over 90 with the Paydex score. A Paydex score is by Dun and Bradstreet, and that keeps track of your business. So the higher your score to 100, the better. So a 95 Paydex score is pretty good, and you're showing revenues, and you know what the underwriters want. Then using your PG is no problem because they're not reporting on your PG, so you can get your funding. And by the way, anybody who's looking for funding, you can have a 700 credit score right now and 700 or higher middle score, and you can get business funding. It may not be substantially like 100,000 or anything, but you can get business funding. So that's why you want to build your business funding because after you use your PG, you leverage your PG, you can also then start leveraging your business credit. So hopefully that explains what you're asking. If not, ask again and I'll see if I can get you there. Structure wise, if you're buying property and you want to do it as a business, then obviously it's an LLC. Um, if if you know investors, here's a little secret people don't pay attention to. If a person invests in real estate or investors invest in real estate, whatever properties they buy, they usually make up an LLC for that property. So it's a separate and sole entity. You don't want to be commingling because if anything happens with lawsuits, they try and start taking everything down. Meaning, if you commingle with XYZ LLC with ABC LLC and it goes to a court of law, then they're going to try and extract the assets of both at the same time. So if you really want to know how we do it, what you should do is have I use the term parent company. Holding company is what a lot of people use um, to shield yourself a little bit. But it kind of almost these days doesn't really matter that much. But you should have a holding company which just receives the funds and controls the stocks, the majority of the stock, majority of the management, and you make sure that you control the management. So I'll give you a perfect example. Everybody, you can Google Nike and subsidiaries. So when Nike opens up something in Africa, it might be Nike Africa. If they open up something in Europe, it'll be Nike Europe. But since Europe is different countries, it might be Nike France, Nike UK, Nike Italy, Disney World or Disney. They also look up their subsidiaries. They're a parent company or a holding company, and then they have all these subsidiaries around the world. That's how you structurally would set up your business. And by the way, when you do it that way, your holding company is eligible for funding. The LLC, that's a subsidiary underneath, is eligible for funding. So what you're doing is you're creating a U, except instead of it being a person, it's a business. And you can keep growing your own little children, AKA subsidiaries, and all of them are eligible for funding as long as you have revenue coming in from each one of them. Huh. Yeah. Trade lines. Anthony Simmons. We can talk about trade lines. Which kind? Primary, which is your own trade lines, or the authorized user trade lines. Authorized user trade lines is using somebody else's credit and it stays on your credit report for 3 to 4 months. So let me know which one you're talking about. Both of them we do. You can actually see some of my previous videos on primary trade lines and AU trade lines. And in the descriptions below those videos, I have the primary trade line links. When it comes to AU trade lines, you have to hit me up at eric@stopstrugglingnow.com, and then I'll get you, the list, and we'll go over which AU trade lines work best for you. And by the way, for everybody, AU trade line special right now. Anybody who gets an AU trade line of $895 or more, it's only going to be for the next 2-3 days. But if you order one from me in the next 2 to 3 days, then you'll get credit repair included at no additional cost. It'll be for free. It'll help you remove some of that bad credit. I'm not going to say 100% of the bad credit, but it'll help you get any derogatory credit if you have it on your credit report, which will help you out. All right. All right, doctor, send me an email. And you're in New York. Which part of New York? Upstate or in the city? There's a huge difference with prices and what you can do too, because your cap rates are going to be a lot lower in the city. Life insurance agent. Okay, so you're kind of right in the mix. So you can get good deals. You can get great deals on real estate, simply because you're in the business of helping people with their retirement plans. Alan Martin, welcome. If you need an AU, hit me up at eric@stopstrugglingnow.com, and let me know if you already know the trade line amount, the credit limit amount you need for an AU trade line, and if you already know the amount of years you need, let me know in the email, and then I can send you over what we have. All right. And just for everybody, people ask me all the time, how long does it stay on your credit report? It stays on there 3 to 4 months. You do not have access to the credit. You do not receive a credit card. Okay, people ask me that all the time. And the only way that you can pay for an AU trade line is you have to send me money via Zelle, which is bank to bank. We don't do credit cards. We don't do PayPal. Or you can send me money Walmart to Walmart, which is the next cheapest option. I think it's $8.95 when you do Walmart to Walmart. Third option, MoneyGram, Western Union. Or if you live near me, I guess, then I can see in person. But either way, that's the only way you can pay for AU trade lines. That's it. So, and don't be shy, but with AU trade lines, most of the time, you're going to have to give up all your info. No CPNs. It's only for primary SSN, your own social security number, and you have to give up your address, your social security number. You're going to have to get an identity IQ or credit check total or some pay credit monitoring service, because after it posts, you have to make sure it posts, and we don't do Credit Karma, Credit Sesame, or any of those free ones. So oftentimes people say it hasn't posted because they're looking at their Credit Karma, Credit Sesame. Then when they log into the credit check total or identity IQ, they're like, oh yeah, it's posted. Exactly. So that's why you have to order up one of those. And people ask me, how soon can I post? We can post as soon as you almost need. It has to be like 10 days out. So in other words, somebody, what's today, the 4th? If somebody said, hey, I need an AU trade line to post this month. All right. I made it back. Okay. So here, let me type this in. So I guess it'll be coming up shortly. Let's see here. Sorry, everybody. My battery's kind of low, so it just all of a sudden shut off. So let's see if we have this back. It won't let me type in here. Okay. All right. Well, we still have a few people here. Thank you. Credit repair service. It all depends. You're going to have to hit me up. Generally, it's $5.99. But like I said, if you buy an AU trade line, we'll include credit repair right now. So you don't have to pay the extra. But the AU trade line that you buy would have to be, like I said, $895 or more. That's the only way we get you the free credit repair. Looking for a home? Okay. Anthony Simmons, what state do you live in? Let me know. The reason why, and let me know if your middle credit score is above 600. The reason being, you can get an FHA loan for 3.5% down. Basically 4% down, and you can buy a house. And in most states in the Southeast or the South or Midwest, you can buy a nice house for $200,000 or less. So you start doing the numbers, you need like $8,000 or about $8,000 to get a house. But Anthony Simmons, what state are you in? Texas? Oh, what's then that means Texas. Oh, 651. Then you can get a house. You can get a conventional loan if your middle score is 651. Oh, then that's even better. Have you used your veteran loan yet? Uh-oh, I might be losing. Stream's not working. Let's see. Oh yeah, we got a bad. I got some fuzziness going on now. Well, I'm sorry everybody about the stream, but if uh if you live on what city you're trying to buy property in, so that'll matter. But disabled. Oh, you've never gotten a loan, so you still have you can get your veteran loan still. Oh man, then you're done. I mean, you can go get a loan, no problem. You can get a US. I don't know about a USDA loan in Florida. I know you can get one in North Carolina, South Carolina. I don't know about Florida. I've never dealt with USDA loans at all. Um, but Simmons, you can get if you haven't used your veteran loan yet. I would suggest you do that. You don't even need 3.5% down, and your interest rate's going to be so low it'll be ridiculous. So you can buy more house for less money. Awesome. You got to explore that avenue, and your credit score is already good enough. I met somebody else that hasn't, they were in the military like 30 years ago, and they were asking me the same thing about 6 months ago. Crazy that you have a lot of people that have never taken advantage. Now's the time, though. I'm not familiar with Mansfield. You're going to have to give me how far is it from a major city? So, again, if we have any new people here, welcome. You can talk about anything. I don't mind answering any questions. You can always send me an email at eric@stopstrugglingnow.com. And don't forget to join the Stop Struggling Now name is at Pinterest. It's at Instagram, Facebook. We have a page and a group. It's all under Stop Struggling Now. We have a website, stopstrugglingnow.com. We have merch, motivational t-shirts, hoodies, have all that. And right now, 20% off with promo code New Year's, all caps. And there's no sales tax, free shipping. What more can you ask for? So I'm sorry about the screen being fuzzy and hazy. I don't know why that is. I can't fix it, but we'll keep rolling because I can see the chat screen. But let me know where the Mansfield is, what major city it's near. No trade lines for business, I am, and welcome. Not so to speak that you're thinking that you can just add it like an AU. The trade lines for business, you're always going to start with the Quill, the Grainger, the Uline, and go from there. Get your Net30 started, and just I'll give a recap. You go to Dun and Bradstreet, sign up for free. Do not pay them once they call you saying pay $1,500 and you get some sort of great deal or something, don't do it. Just sign up and get your Dun and Bradstreet number. Then go get your order something from Quill, Uline, Grainger. Tell them you want Net30. Do not pay for it before it arrives, and you have to order, I suggest $100 or more. And make sure whatever they're shipping you that you order comes in one box. Because sometimes if you order multiple items, they'll separate it. So in other words, they'll be shipped from different centers, and one item may total $60, the other item may total 40, and they won't report on your credit profile. That's the only way I suggest you start with your getting your business trade lines. Arlington, Texas. Okay, near a major city. That's good. Again, I'm not familiar with Mansfield, but it sounds like the property value will be perfect because I know around in Texas that, like I said, $250,000, you can get a pretty nice sized piece of property with a home on it. So I don't see why you would have a problem, and especially since you're a veteran already, you don't have to put down even $8,000 at this point. So you have to explore that. If you want that, your credit score is all right. That's fine. You don't have a problem. Just go do it. That's all I can suggest. And all you have to do is just a mortgage person in the area. They'll help you out. They want their little point or two that they're going to get. All right. So hopefully, Alan Martin, did I answer your question? Did I get your question? Solid Steps. Anthony Simmons, hopefully. Gold and silver with precious metals. I've not heard of Funding Pilot PHFD. I'm not familiar with them. And no, we don't need to do that. Okay. All right. Grant, yes, Anthony Simmons. Yes. In fact, there's grant money to help people with down payments. You might as well get it while it's hot because once the home values start going down and mortgage companies start acting a little different, you won't be able to get that help. But yes, there is help even with down payments. So there is a way for people to get zero down when you're talking about single family homes. It is doable. It just depends on what city and state and the value of the property. And by the way, most places an FHA loan or even a veterans type loan, they cap it at a certain value. So most places $480,000 for an FHA loan. So in California, most homes are worth more than 480,000. So a lot of people can't use FHA, but then there are homes that are under 480. So just keep that in mind. In most states, the southern states, in fact, almost I'd say out of the 50 states in the United States, 40 states you can get an FHA loan, no problem. There's only certain cities and states that their majority of their homes are over $500,000. So no problems. So hopefully that answers your question, Anthony Simmons, about the grant money. It is available. You just have to go get it. And it helps with down payments. There's a help with down payments program, like I mentioned before. Just keep in mind, when we're talking about real estate, a lot of people don't realize that once you own one property, you generally, if we're talking about it, okay, well, I'll deal with single family first. Single family property, you can put down 0%, 5%, 10% these days to finance property. Once you have one in your name, now any subsequent properties that you purchase, you have that they're going to consider those vacation properties. So you're going to have to put down more money. You're not going to be able to put down zero. So you're going to have to put down 20% once you have one property in your name. So if you're going to do that, then you might as well go down the next path and get an FHA loan for a multifamily property and put down the same money and then just have yourself passive income coming in. All right, everybody, we're almost at 2 hours. The longest live stream, the longest chat we've ever had. I've loved it. Thank you, everybody, for being here, coming through. If anybody else has any further questions, let me know. So let me see if I can plug anything while I'm here. The only things I'm going to plug is what we're doing already. All right, don't forget to get your merch. Show a little support. There's new merch coming out. Don't forget to go to our Facebook group. Stop Struggling Now group is what it's called. You can find it on Facebook, facebook.com/groups, and then /Stop Struggling Now group. And in there, we're trying to help people. Put in your IG or put in some social media site, put in a link, drop a link in there. And the idea is to have everybody else go and help you out with promoting. And we're all going to help each other out. Not just my stuff, it's everybody's. Anybody want to talk about anything? It could be anything business related, anything not business related. It's fine. We're only going to hold on here for about another 5 or so minutes. If we don't have any further questions, then I'll probably end this in 2 or 3 minutes. So maybe I should go over some some things I think for 2020, since it's Happy New Year. 2020 property values should start going down, so everybody should be stacking their money if you can. Save your money, a lot of it, if you don't already have a home. If you're thinking about buying a home, you should be stacking money right now and improving your credit score, because credit will go a long way when you're going to buy your house this time. You don't want to have a 5%, 8%, 9% interest rate. You want to be around 1 or 2% if they're going to give them out, and I have a feeling they will be giving those out. So get your credit score up. And you don't want to put down any money, so you want your credit score closest to 700 or over 700, the better. 75% of the population has a credit score under 700, by the way. So don't think you're the only one. It's the credit bureau's job to make sure that your credit is messed up. That's why they don't want to remove things off your credit score, because the people that pay the credit bureaus are the same people where you get your loan from. They want to be able to charge you more interest because that's where they'll make more money. So save your money, invest your money wisely. Don't keep too much money in a bank, because banks are not that liquid. The government has given out trillions of dollars in the last 2 months to make sure they had liquid money at the bank. So keep all these things in mind when you're preparing for 2020. Let's see, what else can we talk about here? We went over the business credit, where to start. You can go to the stopstrugglingnow.com website, and you'll see a business credit builder program there. If you want to join us in that program, again, it's a one-time fee, no upselling. It can help build your business credit, no problem. Let me see, what else can we talk about? Yes, Tradelines getting added has nothing to do with check systems. That won't be a problem. Not a problem at all. If you're talking about personal, they don't do a check system check. Banks, when you go open a bank account, may do it. Well, they will. They will do a check system check. But yeah, you should freeze. If you're doing any credit repair, which you're not talking about credit repair, but I'm just going to say it. If you're doing credit repair, then you got to freeze your Innovis, your SageStream, and your LexisNexis, because when you dispute anything on your credit, they contact those agencies, and that's where they get back the letter saying, oh, we verified it. When in fact, you need to show, they have to show your signature on whatever the debt is for. And they will not have that, because usually it's sent to a collection agency, and the collection agency doesn't have your wet signature. So that's why you're able to dispute it. And then they can't go check with SageStream, LexisNexis, or Innovis, and they're cut off. So therefore, they have to remove your information. PHFD, by the way, if you're still here, let me know what that funding pilot is. I'm not familiar with that. Dr. Katchen, right, exactly. The universal life, that's generally been out for a long time, and most people usually, the idea was be in your 20s or 30s and start it then, and then by the time you're in your 50s, you would have a nice chunk of change because of the interest accrued, and you can borrow against it, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, talk to him, doctor. You can borrow against your life insurance policies. That's another way that you can get funding. A lot of people miss out on these opportunities. You can get funding for if you want to do business or real estate investing, and you have a life insurance policy at 300,000, 500,000, 200,000, and you've been using that universal life. Let the people know, doctor. So that's right, tax free. Right, exactly. Thanks for mentioning that. Um, and you can probably help people also with putting assets into trust as well, so you can have generational wealth in the long run. A lot of people are in the USA. It's amazing. You'll see a whole bunch. No doc. Yeah, yeah. That's a the no doc business. That's going to be based on several factors, but your business better have some sort of revenue coming in. That's what the requirement basically is for the underwriters. You're going to have to be in business like a couple of years, and you're going to have to show that there's revenue coming in, and it can't be something like $2,000 a month neither. So you're going to have that revenue coming in. That'll be the no docs, and you can make it happen. And you're going to have business credit. I mean, you're going to have to show your paydex score 95 or something. So there's certain rules, but it's doable. That's why you start out nice and slow, build it up, make sure your company's making money, and then the sky's the limit because now you'll have the revenue coming in. And by the way, if you let's talk about no doc. Here's a no doc for you. Anybody who does business with PayPal, you receive the majority of your money through PayPal. You can get a PayPal, what do they call it? PayPal credit loan. No docs, no qualifying. All you do is go over there and put in, you apply for it, and tonight, in 10 minutes, they'll tell you you're approved from anywhere from 10,000 to 100,000. Of course, the 100,000 has to be somebody who's generating like $1 million or so through their account, because the way they take the money is they take you get the 10%, 15%, or 25% of whatever comes in through PayPal that goes back towards your loan. So that's a no doubt qualifying loan right there. PayPal credit. Check it out. That's a little tip for the night. Just because PHFD asked. But traditionally, without the PayPal credit, traditionally, you're going to have a business that has revenue coming in, has to be 2 years old, and then you'll be able to get a no doc loan. Ronald Anderson, welcome. Are you talking about an AU trade line? Yeah, okay. I'll go through both. If you're talking about an AU trade line, it doesn't close. So in other words, it just appears on your credit for 3 to 4 months, and then after the 3 to 4 months, it just disappears off your credit. So your debt utilization will change, and your payment history will change. So there won't be any problems with a closed account. Now, as far as the primary trade lines, such as Ox Publishing and Hutton Chase, those they do close after you pay them off. Then they'll call you up and say, hey, do you want to re-up and buy something else? Or do you want to pay a monthly fee to be a member? And then they'll keep reporting. And those they will show closed account if you don't keep going in the membership, or if you don't re-up and order products. Those will show closed. My Jewelers Club, New Coast Direct, those are a 1 year membership when you buy in. So they report for 1 year. And at the end of 1 year, again, either you say I re-up for my yearly fee, which is $99, or they'll you say no, then it'll be a closed account. You don't lose your payment history though. It just shows closed account. That's all, which is not a good thing because that hurts your age. Anytime accounts are closed, that hurts your age. You want age to be 5 years, 7 years age on your primary history on your credit file. That's the best. So when you have closed accounts, that takes away from your age. So Ronald Anderson, let me know if I answered your question, if that's what you meant by the primary trade line, if that's what you were talking about. All right, let me know. All right. Okay, everybody. If you have any further questions, please hit the like button. I should have mentioned that before. Please subscribe and hit the bell, because if you don't hit the bell, you never get the notifications. We just now went over 4,000 subscribers, but not everybody hits the bell, so you don't get a notification. And YouTube doesn't tell everybody that subscribes when a new video comes out. Funding pilot, line of credit, no doc. 20 years, collateral, none. Minimum quality. Okay. All right, Ronald Anderson. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for letting me know. Thank you for asking the question. If you have any further questions, keep asking. Um, yeah, funding pilot. Do they ask for any money up front? Let me know. Because normally there's money up front in case you don't qualify whenever they're talking about no docs. And how much do they take? I didn't see it. Let me see if I'm going to have to look on the screen. Let's see. Do they take any fees? There's got to be some sort of fee, right? 680 code. Need a 680. 680 FICO middle score? Well, that's doable by, well, like I said, 75% of the population is under 700 credit score, but a 680 credit score, there's about 40% of the population has a 680 or higher credit score. So that's cool. That helps a lot of people actually. What state can they do funding in, which states? That's the question. And what's the cap on it? Meaning what's the most, they have a minimum and a maximum that they'll loan, right? Maximum, oh, you already put it on there, $250,000 maximum. Well, like I said, in a lot of the southern states, Midwest states, you can buy property or multifamily properties for less than 250. Hell, in Ohio, you can buy commercial multifamily properties for less than 100,000. Detroit too. Hey, PHFD, can you put a link in the description in the chat box if there's such a thing as a link, so other people can get notified? Or if that's not a thing, can you send me, okay, fundingpilot.com. Thanks. I was getting ready to say, just email me. I'll be interested in checking this out. Is that a source? The only thing you didn't mention does that mean, is it a line of credit, or is it or does it have to be attached to a purchase, such as purchasing a home or purchasing a commercial property? What does it have to be? What has to be the collateral? But you said there's no collateral. So that means it's a line of credit then. That's a pretty good deal right there. Yeah, Joshua, whole life insurance. Universal life insurance is what the doctor was talking about. Whole life insurance, the rates are cheap. Well, universal life insurance, the rates are cheap too. Whole life insurance, they're cheap as well. All right, I like that. That could help out a lot of people. PHFD, thank you so much for sharing, man. That's going to help out a lot of people potentially. And not only on this live feed, but anybody that sees this replay, If they're into 2 hours into it, they'll find out, they'll get a golden nugget, a lifeline. Because a 680 credit score is doable by a lot of people. Even by boosting your credit score using AU trade lines or primary trade lines, you can get to 680. Oh man, equipment line of credit, commercial loans. Oh yeah, that could help out a lot of people. What state are they in though? I mean, what I'm trying to say is, you know how this works. They'll say you're not eligible in like New York, California, Miami. They'll put out different cities or states that they won't allow funding for, or they'll only do funding in a certain amount of states. It's usually not all 50 states. So let me know if you know. I'll still check them out though. I appreciate this little golden nugget, man. That's priceless information potentially. And these are the kind of things that real estate investors or business entrepreneurs, this is the kind of information that you should always be seeking, because you never know when you could use this type of information. In fact, right now, I'm going to go use it because a friend of mine actually is trying to buy some investment property, and he could actually use a 250K. I don't even think he needs 250. I think he only needs like 100K. So that could come in handy. So I'll let him know about it. Wow. All states. Huh. Well, what state are they out of though originally? That'll just let me know right there. That would be helpful. Just let me know what state is the original state they're in. If you say California, I'm going to be like, I'll be like, oh my goodness, that's going to help a lot of people in Cali. But I have a feeling you're going to say it's somewhere in the east. All right, everybody. PHFD is giving us something. Thank you, Ronald Anderson. I appreciate the comment. Me too. I was trying to run the lives through my computer, and every time I try to set it up through OBS, I used to run it through OBS flawlessly. No issues whatsoever. And now I'm having these hiccups running it through my computer for some strange reason. I think it has to do with my my internet connection on the Wi-Fi. Because before I had a higher speed, and then I reduced the speed, but I don't know what it is really. So I'm going to run lives just off my phone from now on. So I'll be doing more lives again. I always wanted to do a couple of lives a month. So I'm glad we had a few people come in, and hopefully people can watch the replay and get all this information, because there's some priceless information here that a lot of people don't know anything about, just like the funding pilot that just showed up in the last 15 minutes. That's priceless. There's a lot of people that contact me all the time asking, do I want to invest in some property or something? And I'm, 100,000 here, 200,000 there. That just adds up. So you can't be doing that. And now I can send them to Funding Pilot. That is awesome. And in fact, I'm going to have to check out Funding Pilot myself, because then I can make a video about a investment property. That's what I was going to do this year. And so I'll use them and see if that works. And I can put them in the video and run it up, and we'll see what happens. So thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. You could be anywhere else, and instead you're gaining a little bit of knowledge. I'm very happy. I'm very proud of that. And you should be proud of yourself for investing in yourself, because it's a 2-hour live stream. Some people have been on for an hour. Some have been on for the full 2 hours. So, yeah, that's what I was thinking, PHFD. They're basically like the underwriters. And then the underwriters find out that they go around and work their deals with the other underwriters. And so that's how they get the funding all together. I understand. That's pretty cool. But I'll still check them out. That's pretty awesome. I think I've seen that name somewhere too. Not that I've used them or anything. I think they used to be at the bottom of commercial property websites or something, if I'm not mistaken. But I never looked into them because I didn't even know what they did. All right, everybody, I post up every now and then those work hard, play hard pictures. You see them on the Facebook group. You see them around on the community box on YouTube. You see them on the Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter. You see all that. And by the way, everybody, if you haven't joined our Instagram, it's also at Stop Struggling Now. No problem there. And where else is on Pinterest is also Stop Struggling Now. And because I can't use the full Stop Struggling Now on Twitter and Snapchat, on Snapchat we are Stop Struggling, and on Twitter we are Struggling Now, unfortunately. Been trying to tell my nephew who works for Snapchat, man, I need an extra 10 letters. A lot of people probably do, but no love so far. So we're only gonna, I said 20 minutes ago, we're only gonna last another 5 minutes, but we got good and we got the nugget of funding pilot. And we talked about a little insurance and universal life insurance, and from the doctor, that helped out greatly as well. That's a little nugget when people want to invest and they could use their own funds to do it. In fact, my sister, that's right, my sister is a trucker. She used her 401k to get herself into the trucking business. I'm not familiar with the program, but she swapped her 401k money and was able to get her own authority, a truck, a trailer, and she's in the trucking business. But I wouldn't advise anyone to get in the trucking business. It's very hard. It's not that easy. And it's almost like I want to call it a monopoly, in my opinion. You're going to have to pretty much take what they're going to tell you the run is. So you have to make special deals to make money in trucking these days without having to be on the road so much. All right. Anybody else have any further questions? I'm going to probably close this out in about the next 5 minutes. I keep saying that, but I'm loving the information that we're getting from you all. I'm loving it. Thank you for being in the chat, and thank you for providing information and this discussion that we probably never would have had if you weren't here, because I normally don't talk about life insurance. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I really appreciate the music comment. Thank you so much. Yeah, it took me a minute to get that out. And by the way, thank you for mentioning that. Anybody who does music, interested in music, trying to start their music career, I forgot. I got to go see a friend of mine. I've been trying to do this video for you guys for a long time. I'm not going to say who it is, but I'll just give some accolades. On the Warner Brothers label back in the day. Had more number ones than Prince when Prince was on Warner Brothers at the same time. Singer, writer, had groups. Warner Brothers. He's one of the original people who had what they call independent label and had a hit song, and then made a deal with Warner Brothers. And with his deal with Warner Brothers, he got artist development and a bunch of other things. And we're going to be talking with him. It's a friend of mine. I've known him for so long. He's in the music business, which is business, and I've done other business. We've never done business together because I'm not in the music business. But I thought it would be good for people who want to start the music business. He has books. He has little webinars and seminars to help people out, because being independent is a pretty cool thing. Steve Q, we have a repair credit program for $599. If you buy an AU trade line in the next 2 or 3 days, an authorized user trade line that's valued at $895 or more, we include credit repair for free. just so you know. Boost your credit score and get your credit repaired. But if you just need credit repair, $599. But shoot me an email at eric@stopstrugglingnow.com, and I'll have your email, and I'll be able to send you if we have any credit repair specials, because sometimes we drop it down to $499. AU Trade Line, it's an authorized user trade line which temporarily boosts your credit score. What you're doing is you're using somebody else's credit. So in other words, you give me your social security number, your name, your address, and I add you to the credit card, and it'll report on your credit report for 3 to 4 months. So what that does is you can get payment history, which is 35% of your credit score, and you can get your debt utilization reduced, because you want your debt utilization under 29%, and ideally you want it at 5 to 7%. So when you get an AU trade line, you hope that it moves your credit, your debt utilization down to under 10%, which will boost your credit score up, because you want that 20, 30, 40 point boost, and you want that to be boosted in 3 to 4 months, so you can then apply for credit, apply for cars, apply for whatever you need to apply for, instead of getting screwed over with higher interest rates. You'll have a lower interest rate. So that's what an AU trade line is. You don't get to use the credit. It's just on your credit report for 3 to 4 months, and then it comes back off. So you have to do whatever you need to do in your 3 or 4 month period. So hopefully that answers your question about the authorized user trade lines, and we have them. So all you have to do is hit me up at eric@stopstrugglingnow.com, and I can shoot you over a list, and we can work on what the amount of trade line that you'll need. Or you can just review some of my previous videos regarding authorized user trade lines, because I go over it and I show you the little buckets that matter. So 65% of your credit score is your payment, on-time payment history, and your debt utilization. The other thing is the age. So on an AU trade line, you want it to be, age matters the most. So if you had a 5-year payment history, that means you're going to have 5 years of on-time payments added to your credit score. And that's 80% of your scores. 35% of your score is payments, 30% of your score is debt utilization, and 15% of your score is age. That is correct. A lot of people get AU trade lines because they need their credit score to be up an extra 20 or 30 points, because a lot of people have their credit score around 650, their middle score or their FICO score. And then they need 680, the next bucket that helps you when you get your home. And then over 700 is the next bucket. So 20 or 30 point increase can be done with an AU trade line, and you can get AU trade lines like as soon as 10 days. It'll be on your report as soon as 10 days, if that's what's needed. So if somebody needed, like I said, hey, or credit score up by the end of the month, you're covered, because we can get you something that'll get reporting on your credit report by the 20th of the month. So that's how simple it is. And then you'll have a lower interest rate for that 30-year note, or that 15-year note, depending on what you pick. But most people pick a 30-year note. And like I told people at the beginning of this, what you have to realize is, think of the power of 72, the number 72. Whatever your interest rate is, divide your interest rate into 72. So if your interest rate was 7%, which it won't be for anybody usually, but if it was 7%, you would divide 72 by 7, that's 10 years. So every 10 years, you're paying double of what you just bought your house for. And people don't think anything about this. So the mortgage companies think about it. That's why they want your interest rate to be higher. But you personally, you want it to be at 4 if you can get it, 3% if you can get it. The lower to 0, the better. So that's why you would get an AU trade line, just to boost your credit score up, so you can get the best interest rate for the house you're about to buy, or the car you're about to buy, because those are high ticket items these days. Those are like the two most expensive things. So anybody that just joined us in the last few minutes, thank you, welcome. This is the open forum. You can talk, you can share information. We can talk about anything you want. I have no problem. Just put it in the chat and we'll talk about it. This has been a great discussion today. I've spent 2 hours, 2.5 hours almost, and we're going to keep going. I was going to be off in 5 minutes. It was about time I get some food to eat, but this is a great conversation. I thank you for participating, and I thank people who have chimed in and gave us some great information, and hopefully I've given some nuggets of information to help out a few people here too. Let's see what we have in chat in case I missed anything. You're welcome, Steve Q. No problem. That's what we're trying to do here. This is a Stop Struggling Now way. Try and help people without having to go through some fake guru. You know what I'm saying? This is the no guru zone. We help people out for free. We don't need to get paid. We already make money. All right. Let's see. Is there any other topics that we can talk about today? Let's see. Another topic that I want to talk about is it's 2020. You have to have multiple streams of income. Millionaires on average have 7 streams of income. Some of these are stocks, real estate, their own businesses. This is why these are all multiple streams of income. So this is what you want to do. You want to start now. A lot of people say, well, I don't have the money, or I don't have this. You always have excuses. This is America. This is the land of excuses. But the ones that say, you know what, I have excuses, but I'm going to try to make this work, and I believe in themselves and they're going to invest in themselves, they're the ones that come out on top. They're the ones that you see that's successful. They're the ones that sit there and say, I'm going to bust my ass to be the best at whatever I do. And I don't even care what you do. You know, the worst job on the planet used to be when I was growing up. What would they say? They'd say, hey, you don't want to grow up and be a garbage man. Well, little did they know that Waste Management and their unionized workers would be getting paid $20+ an hour, right? But I understood what they were saying back then. That was like considered a lower job when they used to say you don't want to be a garbage man, you know. But in reality, that's far from the case. So these are the kind of things you want to invest in yourself. If you're going to work for somebody else for 40 hours a week at a job, then you're going to spend another 3 or 4 hours during the week driving to and from that job. And some people are going to work overtime. So in essence, you could be spending 50, 60 hours a week helping somebody else's dream come true. And you're not going to sit there and take an hour or two every few days to find a way to make yourself an extra stream of income. Come on now. Come on. This is 2020. Nobody's coming here to save you. In case you haven't been paying attention, the government's trying to wean everybody off any assistance. So just be careful in the next 12 months to 2 years, because things could get a bit rocky and you want to be able to have that global economy at your disposal. Get your real estate, as I call it. Online internet is real estate. Get your real estate. Okay? Get your name. Get your website. Get your domain name. Even if you don't start a website, get a domain name that you know you could use. I used to have a web domain name, and I didn't think this way because I never thought much about the internet, but I always made money on the internet. I used to have a domain called Wealth Builders, which would be one hell of a name right now. I used to have Team to Win as well. All these domain names that back in the day I had no use for. Now I wish I would have had them. But you just never know. This is all real estate, and what's going to end up happening is we're going to have a global economy like we do now. And you're not just going to be selling to people in the United States, Mexico, China. You could be selling to people who right now hardly even have internet. You could be selling to people in India, Africa. These places still have generally 60, 70% of the population do not even have access to the internet. So there's a whole buyer's market out there, and you're fiddling around not getting your real estate, your online real estate. And don't care about if somebody's gonna like or subscribe or follow you or anything like that. You just need to put whatever your product, service, or business is, put it out there, post up every day, every 2 days, and let people know that you're alive and breathing, and whatever form you take. It doesn't have to be YouTube. It could be Instagram. It doesn't have to be those two. It could be Snapchat. It could be Facebook. Take your pick. It could be the new TikTok. Take your pick. But you have to get your platform and you have to get on your real estate online. Because if you can't sell and you don't have a job, you have to be able to sell to the world. You have to be able to make income somehow. So just keep all that in mind. In case you haven't known the stats, you guys know I go over this financial services information, such as the most amount of stores have closed in the last 3 years than in American history. That's a record. Thousands. The most amount of farms out of business, gone, history. Coal miners, if any of you are watching, they're dropping like flies from health hazard, and the coal mines are closing. Steel industry, U.S. Steel just laid off another 700 people. That's because this is a global economy. This is not just a USA ecosystem. People are buying cheaper products from outside of the US and importing them in. This is the same thing you can do. You can go to AliExpress, the little secrets that the Amazon guys do. They go to AliExpress, or eBay guys go to AliExpress. They buy the products there, then they put them up over here on those websites. It's a simple thing. They're making a little bit of extra money, and some people are making a lot of bit of extra money. And how are they doing that? They're investing in themselves. They're spending the $100 on YouTube ads, the $100 on Facebook ads or more. Some people spend thousands of dollars on Facebook ads, thousands of dollars on YouTube ads. So that could be you. Doctor, Gretchen, any insight suggestion in the manufacturer? Yeah, Alibaba, AliExpress. Go there. But hold on, I'm going to look at your message again because I actually have a thing about China and manufacturing. Right, right. Gretchen, there's two things. I'm just going to say this, what I told all my friends. I would never suggest having a product made in China. The reason why is because they don't deal with trademarks. Um, I don't patents, trademarks, they'll make your product, that's fine, but your product's going to be sold around the world um, under a different name. But with that said, um, yeah, so I don't know what your product is. So without knowing what your product is, I'll just give you some general information. I don't talk about this, but yes, I used to buy and sell 30, 40 years ago. I was already doing the global economy. I used to buy cameras from Yashica in the 80s. I used to get watches from Hong Kong in the 80s. In fact, I made, well, I didn't make them, they designed them. The Olympics were in Los Angeles. They made exact copies of Olympic watches, and I sold those in the early 80s on TV before there was a QVC and all those shopping channels. There was a guy in Northern California that used to have a bingo show on TV, and because bingo is so boring when they're pulling out numbers, he came up with the bright idea of selling products. And because I had products in a newspaper back in the day, we had to do things the old-fashioned way. I had products being sold in newspapers, little magazines that show up at your door. The guy calls me up and says, "Hey, would you like to sell some of your products on my TV?" And the rest was history. I made a deal with him for every dozen. Here's the deal of the century. For every dozen he sold, here's my deal. Every dozen he sold, he gets the price of one. Can you believe that? Who would take that deal today, right? So I would sell out of a dozen, I would sell what I keep 100% of the money from 11 out of the 12 products sold. How was that for a deal? No money up front out of pocket, nothing. And I would just roll up at the end of every week. I'd go to the offices and collect a check. So this is basically what's going on right now. You have to be out there for somebody to know you exist. And the more people know you exist, the more opportunity they have to buy your product or service. So now back to this importing from China stuff. Yeah, I just said it already. I don't like anything made in China. But first off, you have to talk about, is your product that you have made in China, how portable is it? Give me an idea. I mean, are we talking about when you ship it by air, what's the cost? Versus, well, we know by sea, you're talking, I don't know their timelines these days, but we used to have to wait like a month, month and a half if we decided to ship it by sea. And that was because their container times weren't like they are now, I'm sure. Back then, they only shipped out so often. Right, 72 cents a pound, but how many pounds is it? That's the question, right? How many pounds is it? 72 cents a pound. Is that ship cost, or is that what you're saying? It's 72 cents per pound, but how many pounds is it? Because without knowing the pounds, there's no way to figure it out. But why you don't have enough profit margin? Oh, okay. Well, then what's the problem? Why don't you just have it sent by air? Are you not having enough profit margin to have it made there and shipped here? Or are you just trying to have it made in the United States altogether? Which would be my choice. I don't, like I told you, I don't like having anything made in China. You know it's going to be knocked off. So that's why I don't feel sorry for when Apple, Samsung, and any other company goes overseas and they're exploiting the cheap labor where they pay people $10 a day or $5 a day, and those people are making the products. You know good and well some of that product is going through the back door. Right, but Gretchen, how are you selling out then? At Well, I don't know how much your product costs, but you should have enough. If you're making enough profit, then why aren't you reinvesting your profit back into the order? Which is what you should be doing. So, and we're going to talk about this actually. If you sell any products or services, you have to reinvest part of your profit back into the business. So I'll just keep this simple. Let's just say we have a product that we are buying for $5, and let's say I'm selling it for 20. And hopefully, just so you know, I don't like those type of profit pictures. You want to have a higher profit in it. But for our example, I'm buying product, it cost me $5 wholesale. I'm selling it for $25. That means our profit is $20. What you should be doing is you should set aside some money to reinvest. So in other words, you should be saying, okay, I'm going to take $5 out of every order, or $10 in this case, and we're going to apply this towards our next order. So it's exponential growth. So now we're getting double, and we're using our profit to double our inventory. So that's basically how you should set it up. So you should always have more than enough if your profit margins are high enough. Oh, that is awesome. Hey, Gretchen, speaking of patents and pending and all that, tell the people how much, well, I don't know if you want to tell people. I can give people an idea, but let people know how much it costs for you to get a patent attorney or a patent lawyer. This is how most people get stopped, because a patent attorney and patent lawyer, they usually want, sometimes if they know you, they'll say, well, I'll start it for you for $5,000, but that's just a start. By the time you're done, they usually want 15, 20K. Patent lawyer, 3K. Is he doing the full patent or is he handing it off? Hell, you should give that man a plug. Because 3K is almost a deal. That's an awesome deal. That's awesome. Right, Steve Q, I agree. Where do you get a primary trade line? Khaled, welcome. Just go to one of my previous videos, look down my previous videos list, and look for Boost Your Credit Score. And under any of those videos, in the description, there's links to primary trade lines. On all of them. Authorized user videos, they'll have primary trade lines as well, usually listed in the description. So you can use any of those links, please. Let's see, what else we got here? Ha ha ha, not included the design. Ha ha ha. Okay, exactly. That's why I was like, how are you getting this to be 3K? Okay, so it's not like he's doing 100%. You're talking about, right. Let the people know. When you had to do the designs, that's where it costs more than your patent attorney. I'm sure. That's an arduous journey getting those designs. Site number. You're on YouTube, so just go to the Stop Struggling Now channel. Okay, go to Stop Struggling Now channel, and then look, and you'll see all the videos. I don't actually have a website. Or you can go to stopstrugglingnow.com, and then you can see Boost Your Credit Score on the front page. You'll see an image, and you can click on there, and that'll take you to a page. Or you can go to the blog post, and I talk about primary trade lines there as well. So those are a few places you can go get it. Stopstrugglingnow.com, you can see it, or put in the search bar Stop Struggling Now at YouTube, and you'll see the videos for the Boost Your Credit Score, and that'll help you out. Or, last resort, you can always send me an email at eric@stopstrugglingnow.com, and I'll send you the primary trade line links that I have. So hopefully that helps you out there. Yeah, Gretchen, let me know. I'm anxious. Are you going to share me the cost for the designs? Who you had to pay for that? Because that's where... This is how a lot of people get stopped, because at the end of the day, most people don't even have, 70% of the people in America don't even have $1,000 in their bank account, let alone the $5,000 to the $10,000 that's going to take to just start talking patent, getting a patent for something. So let me know. Phone number. I do have a phone number, but I don't give it out though anymore because I get too many calls. Life Media Pro, welcome. Glad to see you. This is a record, man. We got a live for 2 hours and 44 minutes, and I'm enjoying every bit of it. Have a lot of people here helping people out. Oh, Khaled, Eric at stopstrugglingnow.com. Hold on a second. Let me see. I'll put it in the chat box. Eric. Or somebody else can too. Let's see here. I got to type with one hand. Why is this doing this? Oh, no wonder. Thinking I'm on my phone. Okay, at Stop Struggling Now.com. There you go. Let's see. That's it. That's not it. Instead of the M under that crown, it's an N as in Nancy. It's Stop Struggling Now, just like the channel. Eric at stopstrugglingnow.com. That'll be it, Khaled. Okay, hold on. Let me see here. Is everybody getting it? So I'm waiting, Gretchen. Let me know how much did it cost for the designs. I'm curious these days. I haven't tried to get a patent in a long time. Yeah. So yeah, Khaled, it's struggling now. Not with the M, it's with an N as in Nancy. Or you can go to the website, I think, right there too, because it just put it in. Life Media Pro, what's happening? Thank you for joining us. A lot of people have been putting in some awesome information here. Right, 1,300. Okay. So that's like 43, 4,400 right there. And when you're doing the designs, by the way, that takes time. It's not something that can just be done in 2, 3 days. Yes, Khaled, I do primary trade lines. Like I said, just go to the website or see any of the Stop Struggling Now Boost Your Credit Score uh, videos, and in the description down below, they'll have links to primary trade lines. And I'm hoping you're talking about primary trade lines that go with your social security number, because I don't do CPN stuff, just so you know. Hold on, everybody. I've been on here for all this time. I got to get me a drink of water or something. All right. So let's talk business, starting a business. Oh, by the way, anybody new, don't forget to go to stopstrugglingnow.com, the website, and get your merch. We got hoodies, t-shirts, they're motivational t-shirts, new ones coming out in a couple of weeks. Speaking of starting businesses, I also had a video where I showed you guys how to start Khaled, how to start a business. Khaled, the primary trade lines, there's different ones. The longest ones, My Jewelers, New Coast Direct, because they're year memberships when you originally sign up, they'll be on your credit report for 1 year unless you re-up. If you're talking about Ox Publishing and Hutton Chase, those boost your credit score up, but they're going to end at the end of your first round of payments. Either you have to order something else, or you have to pay for your membership monthly, and they'll keep reporting. Or you can get an unsecured credit card or secured credit card with Discover It. Put down $500. That used to be $300. And then at the end of 6 months, as long as you have 6 on-time payments, they will give you back your deposit. At the 7th month, they'll give you back your deposit and give you an unsecured trade line. And then that'll be on your credit as long as you have the Discover card. Hopefully that helps you out. Business. All right. Somebody wants to talk business. What I was going to talk about is a lot of people don't do business because you're thinking of the cost factors. Well, this is what I've always done. I pretty much, whenever I've started a business, I always figure out what's my cheapest entry point. The reason why I always figured out my cheapest entry point was simply the fact of any profit made means that's profit in my pocket. How old is it showing on credit report? No. When you get a primary trade line, that goes on your personal credit score. So your primary trade line, it starts now. The age, how old it is, starts now. The first reporting date, it'll be 0 month. If you're talking about an authorized user trade line, that's a whole different thing. That's when you use somebody else's credit report or credit card and they post that to your credit file. Then you could have 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years of credit reporting on your credit report. But for those, they only stay on your credit report 3 to 4 months. And then after 3 to 4 months, it just goes away. It doesn't show a closed account. It just goes away. Just like it came, it just goes away. So in that time frame, you need to get your credit better or get whatever products or services you were trying to buy on credit. Okay, back to business. As far as business goes, what I always looked at is a business to get yourself a leg up is you try to find the cheapest entry point. Anybody can walk around and say, I need a loan. If you say you need a loan to start your business, that means you're already behind the eight ball because you have to generate revenue of a certain amount. Otherwise, you're going to default on this loan. So if you can get in for cheaper, then that's the object of your desire that you should be looking for. So when it comes to business, that's the first thing I look for. So I'll give you a perfect example. The t-shirts. I could go to printify.com. I can go to teespring.com. I can go to a lot of places and put in these sayings on the t-shirts and post them up online and have them make it, and I'd get a certain amount of profit. But instead, some of you can go watch the how to start a t-shirt business for nothing video. And that's what I did. I chose a different option because I wanted the profit more to myself. So what I did was I got lucky, Grand Illusion in Fort Myers, Florida. I walked in and I said, hey, here's the deal. Can you give me sample t-shirts? And how much would they be? And I talked to her. She says, oh, the sample t-shirt, just so we can see what it looks like on the shirt, I'll give those to you for free. I was like, oh my God, here we go. So I have no cost to have a t-shirt. This isn't a sample one, but originally I had the sample one. So now I can wear those out. I can promote them. I can put them on mannequins like I did. And all for nothing. It cost me zero other than my time and putting a saying on and picking out color of shirt and the fabric of the shirt. So now she gave me a way to sell t-shirts for starting at zero cost. So all I had to do is I showed the shirt, people started ordering, then I go in from the proceeds and order the shirts. And that's how I started the t-shirt business for no money. Just like the other day when I did the Airbnb video, I also started Airbnb with zero money. All I did was I got free timeshares to start. You guys will have to check out that video. Okay? This is how I used to buy real estate. Because back in the day, FHA loans, you could take over the payments. And in a down economy, when home values start dropping, people just wanted out. They couldn't afford it. They're underwater. They would give you for basically $50. That's all it costs to buy that FHA loan or assume the FHA loan. So that's how I got real estate back in the day. They don't have it like that anymore, but that's how I used to do that. I have other stories. I was going to start a watch company because watches have a high profit margin, especially when they say Swiss made. So again, if you saw the Work Hard, Play Hard series, I was in Switzerland. Reason being, I went to Basel World, BASEL World. That's every year, the biggest watch trade show on the planet. All those that everybody talks about, the AP, Patek Philippe's, Rolex, all these guys, they're all there with stores. You know, when you go to a convention, they have booths normally. These guys have stores. These places are like 1,500, 2,000 square feet of space. And of course, they have watches that cost $50,000, $30,000, $10,000, $20,000, $100,000, $200,000. But they have space there. And they make it happen. So I'm in Switzerland, and I went to go check out some watches at this Basel World, and I didn't drive there, so I took a van, some sort of van, because they had Basel World van between Zurich and Basel. So I'm on the van, and we get there, I'm riding around, it's lovely, right? Everything's cool. I'm coming back on the van, and there's a magazine. So I'm just thumbing through the magazine. And what do I see? We make Swiss-made watches. I called them up. They wholesale Swiss-made watches. And some of these companies, like Swiss, I can't remember what they're called, Swiss military, they get their watches made there and they're selling their watches online for $400, $700, $800, $1,000. This is the same company. That company makes your watches. They will send you sample watches. You have to pay, but you can have Swiss-made watches for less than $200 that you can sell for $500, $700, $800. And then when you start going up to a high end, they'll make something for you for $350 with your logos, your own design, however you want to do it. They make it. So I was going to get into that. The reason why I didn't get into it, I'll tell you in a second, but I was over in Switzerland and I looking through a magazine and found these guys. And just because I was in that area, if I was in America, I would have never found them. But because I was in Basel at the watch place, the Basel World Watch Show, I'm in this van reading the magazine, and here these guys are talking about, we'll make Swiss watch for you. And then I find out other companies who are selling watches for $10,000, $5,000 have theirs made in the same factory. Except they're putting their logos on there and they're changing out some of the materials. That's right. Watches that cost $400 or $500, $600 to make, they're selling for $5,000, $10,000. So, and this company is a family and they've been doing it for like 60 to 80 years. Out of control, right? So again, sometimes you have to think there's ways to do something and you don't even realize it. You're thinking that to enter the marketplace is beyond your means. You're thinking, oh man, I don't have 5,000, I don't have 10,000. But little did you know, it might have costed you little to nothing to get your business started. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for all the new people who've just joined us. We're almost hitting 3 hours. This is awesome. Eddie Lobos, I appreciate your support and I appreciate your comment, man. Thank you for coming here tonight. Thank you for the love. I appreciate it. I'm hoping I'm helping out a lot of people. So, so basically, don't think that you can't start something. That's where the downfall is. Everybody's sitting there thinking, oh no, that guy over there, he's successful because he had to invest 20,000, 50,000, 100. I can tell you every business that I've ever started, I started with less than $100. Either 0 or 100. And that's because I've always used the one business. And people are like, how are you doing? And I would print in my laptop compact, which really wasn't a laptop. Did I lose audio? Can you guys hear? Let's see. We still no. Uh-oh, audio's out. Let's see if we can get some audio back. Mute mic. All right. Hear me again? Hopefully you can. If you can't hear me, then that means playtime's over. Yeah, sound on and off. Let me know if you guys can hear me at all. Am I still out? Okay, beautiful. For letting me know. All right. So yeah, when it comes to business, don't think that the sky's too big. Don't think your dream is too big. You have to go for it. And anybody out there who's trying to do something, feel free to hit me up. Like I said, I've been doing this starting for zero for businesses for quite a long time. So that's my thing. If there's a way to do it, I pretty much have probably already done it. And most people are thinking one thing first because you're always taught you have to invest, you have to give out money. What's that saying? You have to spend money to make money. Ain't that the saying that they ruin everybody by? And so you're all caught up into the same thing. So when when the online gurus tell you, give me 2,000, give me 1,000, you'll learn how to do something. People have no problem with trying to get this money to them. When in fact, you could have started with less than 10% of that for what they're about to tell you. But you want to go with this step-by-step half-ass manual that they're going to give you so you can come back to see them later. And so they can upsell you for something else. So you don't have to do it that way. Just like right now, they have these FBA Amazon courses. Well, I talked about this almost a year ago. They have AliExpress and Alibaba. They have liquidators.com. You can basically drop ship from Alibaba, AliExpress if you make a deal with the people. So you can start for little to nothing these days. That's why I say get your online real estate, get your online website, get your online usernames, get your online branding started, because this is going to go a long way in the next 30 years. When you have countries like India and Africa who have millions of people and 70% of them do not have internet access, imagine when they get down to 50%, when they added the 200 or 300 million people to the ecosystem for internet. Think about that. You could be part of that. I wish I would have been on YouTube like 10 years ago, or Instagram or Snapchat or any of these other things that came out in the last 7 to 10 years. I just never even paid attention to it because I was in my own little world just making money, passive income, and I didn't have to even pay attention to it. It's not until I started doing this channel that I realized there's a whole nother world out here that I can market stuff to. So you just have to go for your goals and dreams. Don't let anybody talk to you that you can't. Because in fact, I have a little surprise for some people in about another 30 days or so. But most people work 9-to-5 jobs. So when you tell them that, hey, I'm going to go do my thing, they're looking at you like, oh no, that's too scary for me. So they're going to basically stop you from doing it. They're not going to be in the majority. They're going to be in the minority part who are going to want to go out and do their thing. So I always say, if you want to do things when you want, how you want, when you want, then you have to be an entrepreneur. You actually have to do what you want, when you want, how you want, and you got to start doing it today. There's no, I'm going to do it tomorrow. There's no, I'm going to do it next week. There's no, I'm going to start next month. There's no, I'm going to wait till I have $5,000. There's no, I'm going to wait till I have $100. In today's society, all you have to do is have an image, a username, and one of these apps, and you can be in business tomorrow. That's how simple this is. You can go to Alibaba, AliExpress, be in business next week. You can go sign up for Amazon. And by the way, here's a tidbit that I had in the video. Go to Amazon. If you have a product, business, service, that's right, business or service, go to Amazon. Go down to the bottom. Some people don't even know that Amazon finds people for you if you sign up in their programs. They have business programs that Amazon one day, where they're already doing it. If you want a plumber, if you want some, you're gonna be going through Amazon. Imagine if you're a business and you have your business on Amazon. You're reaching billions of people, hundreds of millions of people, and they're growing, and you get to grow with them. These are the kind of platforms that you should be on, platforms that help expand your business, and you can get all this for free. The bigger Instagram gets, the bigger you could get. The bigger YouTube gets, the bigger I can get, or anybody on YouTube can get. YouTube only has 13 million people on here. There's 7 billion people on the planet. 250 million people. Well, no, there's 325 million people in the United States, and only 13 million people total are on YouTube. That means there's an upside. The advantage goes to those who get in now. So don't go and sit around going, woe is me, I don't have any money. Well, it doesn't even cost you anything to post up on these free sites. So why not join in the party and start one step at a time, one day at a time? All right, let's see, after I got off on my little tangent and rant, anybody else have any questions? Anybody want to share anything? Because we got that funding pilot share by KFHD. That was awesome. We got the doctor talking about real estate and universal lifeline and how you can get people to invest tax-free. So if anybody has any further questions, let me know, because we done hit a record 3 hours and 7 minutes on my phone. This is awesome. And I want to thank everybody for being here on a Saturday night, because you could be anywhere else. But at least you're investing in yourself, trying to gain some knowledge. So that's a major plus. All right, I don't see any more questions, but I do appreciate everybody out there. And I just want to say, if you want to start something, you can start it at any time. Don't let anybody stop you, like I said before. It's your life, your dreams, your goals, and nobody else is going to share your life, your dreams, and your goals. Not 100%. Only you can do that. So don't let anybody stop you. That's what's wrong with this world. Too many people trying to be a 9-to-5 worker and be safe and not live their life and dreams. Mr. Smith in the house. Altoids, welcome. Thank you for joining us. This is an open forum tonight. You can talk about anything. If you have any questions, let me know. You can talk to me about them. If you have anything to share with regard to how to make money, how to start marketing, how to help people in any way, shape, or form, let's hear it. I'm willing to share, because that's what we're all about here at Stop Struggling Now. Everybody's got to be a winner, or at least try to be. We can only try to be successful. So why not? Just do it. I'm not familiar with this free gold savings account. You're gonna have to throw in some. You're gonna have to throw in some links or something. I'm not familiar with this. Nobody's ever told me about any free gold savings. Tradelines, Altoid, what are you talking about? It depends. What are you trying to do with your credit? That's what it depends on. Do you have credit already? Is your credit score lower than what you want it to be? Primary trade lines can boost your credit score because the debt utilization, 30% of your score can be decreased. Your debt utilization can be decreased. So all you got to do is go to one of my previous videos and look at primary trade lines. Right. So go look at one of my primary trade lines. I got one that I just came up with, up to 26,000 primary trade lines. Or go look at the one I made about how to increase your credit score after bankruptcy. The reason being is because you can use self-lender, which is actually, they give you a primary trade line, but you can use self-lender. It's a savings / helps go on your credit. Yes, business credit I do help with as well. Primary trade line wise, you can go to self-lender and Credit Strong. They do not do a credit check. So therefore, your score won't matter, and you can start, and they'll start adding payments on your credit file. So that can help you out. I don't do credit bars. Like I said, somebody else asked me about that earlier. The reason why I don't do credit carrot bars is because they charge more for the gold for the precious metals, they charge more because they have a downline to pay or commissions to pay. I tell everybody to go to AppMex or SD Bullion, and every 900 or every $99 or more that you spend, they ship you your precious metals for free. So that's why I choose those two. Carrot Bars to me is like a network marketing company, and they're taking that cut, so you're paying more for the gold and silver and precious metals. Nothing wrong with them. I mean, they've been around, but I don't like using them. I don't. Again, too much money for the same items. Eddie Lobos, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for sharing that. DSX, no good. Do not go with them. Stay away from DSX. That's out. They basically ripped off everybody. They're in Miami, Florida, or allegedly, and I was supposed to go over and see them. They were at a credit conference, and when they were coming back is when stuff hit the fan, because they were talking to me saying, yeah, we're changing our offices or this, that, and the other. Next thing I know, their trade line came off of people's credit report. They did report to a few of us, and then the next thing I know, it wasn't reporting anymore. Then they weren't answering their phone. So no, DSX is out. Thank you, Life Media Pro. Z Black Card out. Thank you so much, Life Media Pro. Thank you for the support, man. Anybody that paid DSX, Z Black Card, my only suggestion is get your money back. Do a charge back on your credit card if you can. That's all I can say. At least you had to use a credit card, so hopefully you're safe. If you use a debit card or a credit card, get that dispute going and get your money back. There's also another company out there that just started that's in Miami. I think it's the same DXX guys, but they're using a different name. And they're using an 800 number with no office address and nobody to really talk to. So I think it's the DSX guys trying to scam people a different way. I can't remember the name of the company though. Yeah, Altoid Smith. Hopefully you heard me, man. Just do a chargeback if you're talking about DSX or a Z Black Card. I wouldn't do Z Black Card. I've been out for like over a year. And Troy's been on our feed sometime on my pages when on the Z Black Card pages telling people that he's going to keep going till the end. But it's been over 2 years that he's been talking about trying to get his trade lines, and it's bogus. So, and he's still charging people and then it turns out that he's going to charge people. Fingerhut is good. Yeah, the Z Black Card guys finally confessed and came out with it. They're going to charge people extra money to post trade lines. The same as what you would do with My Jewelers Club or New Coast Direct or Ox Publishing or Hutton Chase. Same thing. So it's kind of crazy. Fingerhut, yes. No qualifying. They'll accept everybody, and that'll go to your credit report, and that'll help boost your credit score. And Lobos, that is great news to hear, man. From 430 to 643, that's a long way. 200 points. But yeah, if you did the Stop Struggling Now program, that's about right. I know it took a few months, but hey, it was well worth it, because now at least you're in range where you can even get a Capital One credit card now unsecured. So just to help things out a little further, you can get a lot of things now with the 643 that can help you out and boost your score and keep it going. Quicksilver, right? There you go. Exactly. There you go. Right. And if you start an LLC, you can use a PG, and you can get a Capital One Spark as well. And oh yeah, Altoids, yeah. Well, it only knocks your score down. I don't know what you mean knocks your score down, because if you have a car note, as long as you pay on time, it helps your score because it's an on-time payment history and it doesn't go against your debt utilization. Unless you mean when you applied for your card and they did a hard inquiry and then they did the usual banking where they sent it to 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 different places. Yeah, your score would get jacked for about 4 months. Unless you had about 10 primary trade lines, then it would only be jacked for 1 month. By the way, everybody, you should have 10 primary trade lines or 10 items that report to your personal credit report or more. That helps you increase your score, and that helps if in case you ever have a problem or you missed a payment, let's say, it would only take you 1 month to get back to 98, 99%, versus if you only had 2 or 3 uh, items reporting to your credit report and you miss a payment, it'll take you 6 or 7 months to get back to 98, 99%. So just letting you know, that's the magic number. You need like 10 or 11 items reporting or more to your primary trade line. LLC. Well, Altoy Smith, if you have an LLC, are you saying no, you didn't use an LLC to buy your vehicle though? Because you could have, but unless it was a Ford or a Mercedes, then they would have checked your personal credit score. Ah, Eddie Lobos, yes. The Business Credit Builder Program. You can go to stopstrugglingnow.com. Yeah, that is awesome. It's simply because you go on your computer and it's a step-by-step program, and you can call up counselors, and they're bilingual, by the way, in case people speak multiple languages, not multiple. It's Spanish or English, and the counselors help you out if you're stuck or don't understand something. And also, that's for 1 year. Once you sign up in the program for 1 year, even after you finish and you're already getting funding and already getting your business credit, you can still pick up the phone and say, hey, what can I do, or I have questions. And up to 5 years, you can get business funding. Where what I mean by that is you can send in your information and for no charge and find out what funding you'll qualify for, because depending on your business, you could qualify for different funding options that 90% of the population doesn't even know exist. And you get that up to 5 years. So that's why it's worth the, well, now it's up there. It's $1,495 now for the Business Builder Credit Program. But because I haven't changed the price, I believe it's still at $995 right now. And now that you mention it, I'm changing the price. So if you want to sign up, Eddie, let me know, and I'll still give you, anybody on this live stream tonight, if you want to sign up with the Business Builder Program, I'll let you sign up for $995, the same that you see on the stopstrugglingnow.com website. Okay? I'm not going to charge people more since the price still is the same on the website. And again, this is a no guru zone. There is no upsell with the Business Credit Builder Program, because once you learn how to do it, you don't need me anymore. You won't need anybody really, because your credit will be built the way it should be built for the long run and for getting the proper business funding and business lines of credit in the long run. This isn't for short term, it's for long term. And there's no upsell. So once you learn it, you'll know it, and you can always go back through and reference it, and you're good. Lifetime. So that's the beauty of it. You know, I don't like the guru zone. Altoid Smith, are you referring to business or are you referring to personal for the trade lines? The primary trade lines, just go look at my previous videos. Because I have primary trade lines, which goes on your personal credit report, and I have the authorized user trade lines, which goes on your personal credit report. And then we can talk business lines of credit, and how you started is the usual. You know, once you have your Duns number, Duns and Bradstreet number, the usual Uline, Grainger, Quill, and you do Net30. Make sure you order over $100, and make sure it's all on one coming out of the same place, especially for Quill, because, and then you got to wait sometimes 1 month, sometimes 2 months, sometimes 3 months before they report, but they'll report. But you got to order over 100, net 30, and then pay them after you receive the product, not before. Within 30 days, of course, but when it gets there, then you pay them, because if you pay them before 30 days, it may not report because it'll almost treat it as a cash payment. Yes, Eddie Lobos, you will not get funding for a mining farm for Bitcoin. Speaking of that, because other people may have missed this before, it does matter what the name of your business is. So if you name your business, let's just call it John's Bitcoin Farming, and you try to go get financing, the underwriters automatically has an X. You will not get funding. Anything that has to do with financials, business, monetary, banking, any names like that, you will not get funding. You'll have a hard time. That's why you have to have a generic name. People think it's cute that they're going to call themselves, Johnny's Financial Consultant. Then they find out they can't get funding. You have to use a generic name. You don't want to use it that it has something to do with the financial name. Exactly. But then again, if you're going to be in the mining business and you have you're going to have your corporation and it's going to have documents. So the underwriters are going to ask you for those documents. And if they see that you're in the Bitcoin space or financial industry space, you're going to get turned down. So all I can say is you have to basically, if you want to do that, you're going to have to name it in a certain, you can't name it like Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. You can't use any name associated with any financials to begin with. And then when you write up your articles of incorporation, you're going to have to write them in a way that it's a generic, where you're just saying our business will do farming, but you're not going to mention what type of farming. You're going to have to put it mention in a way what you're actually trying to do, but it can't be related to these cryptocurrencies or financial industry. Just so you know. You can get funding, but it's going to be hard. And the funding you're going to get is going to be some sort of angel investor funding if you're going to try that. But then again, you're going to have revenues coming in, or like to. Or you're going to have to go to Silicon Valley and talk to those guys, because they're the only masters of manipulation who get funding for ideas. And it may not even work. All right, let's see. I do have that. I need help with personal. Altoid Smith, like I said, go look at my previous primary trade lines, authorized user trade line videos if you want to get your credit score right. And I also did a couple of credit repair videos as well, so you don't have to pay people to do your credit repair, hopefully, as well. So hopefully that'll work for you. And the channel name is Stop Struggling Now. So all you have to do is go in the search bar, Stop Struggling Now, or click down, if you're on YouTube, click down below my name, and that should take you to my videos. So hopefully that helps you out and helps out other people. So again, everybody, thank you for coming. And since we may have new people here, we do have merchandise. I call them motivational t-shirts. You can see this one here. We're going to have new ones coming out in a couple of weeks. One that's going to be new is going to be called Emerging Millionaires. And I got to thank Not That Falcon Coin again for the one that came up with the name, and I used it. So he's going to be getting one of the t-shirts for free. It'll say Emerging Millionaire. It's not going to have an S at the end. It'll just say Emerging Millionaire on it. And of course, it'll be in a different style. And then go to stopstrugglingnow.com and go to the SSN merchandise page. That's where you'll see our hoodie and other t-shirt, other hoodies. And women, we have something for you too. The little V-neck, women's t-shirt, women's size. And if anybody wants a certain color of hoodie or t-shirt that I don't have listed, when you order, just put it in there. I'm doing specialty order. That's how sick this is, right? If you said, hey, I want a pink t-shirt with white letters, or pink t-shirt with blue letters, whatever, I'll do that one off. I don't need to do a dozen. That's how good the relationship is with Grand Illusion. She's really helping me out. She has been in the business for like 30, 40 years. She actually helped me design the designs, even though I have the idea on what I want to do and then I bring them to her. She's in the business so long, she's an expert. She goes, Eric, no, 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 you got to do this and do that, change the font a little bit. That's a little better. This is what people like. So this is like priceless that I get for free. And because I'm doing business with her, she's giving me this knowledge and information for free. She's helped me out. So it's beyond, it's really unbelievable. And I got to give a shout out to Sherry at Grand Illusions in Fort Myers. And she's an awesome person. And if anybody wants to start a t-shirt business, I suggest you go through her. She doesn't really even have minimums or anything, especially if you say, Eric from Stop Struggling Now told me to call you. 18 years old? Man, that's easy. That means they don't have any trade lines at all. So all they have to do at 18, just apply. Capital One will give them a card. If they're a student and they're on campus, usually the credit card companies are there and they give them little $500 to $1,000 credit limits. The other thing you can do for an 18-year-old is you can add them to one of your credit cards as an authorized user, and that'll boost their credit score. That helps them out. So in case I got to repeat that, a parent who has an 18-year-old person, you can add your child as an authorized user. You do not have to give them the credit card. You just add their social security number and their name to the card, and for every month that it reports, it'll be reporting on theirs. Altoid Smith, are you talking about trying to put trades on your business credit? Right, you should be doing that anyhow. Yeah, Altoid Smith, you don't need a score. When you're 18 years old, credit card companies will give people a credit card because they do realize they just turned 18 and legally they now can apply. So they usually give them a nice, $500 to $1,000 credit card. And if you want to help them out, like I said, if you have a credit card and it has on-time payment of 98% to a 100%, then add your kid as an authorized user, but don't give them the credit card. Okay? That'll help them. That'll boost their credit score up, and that'll actually give them a score. But at 18 years old, they can apply for credit cards, and they'll probably get a few. And keep in mind, you don't want to, every time you apply for a credit card, a hard inquiry, you're going to lose points. It could be 3 points, 5 points, 10 points. It just depends. So as a new person, don't have them trying to go around. Just do one or two. T-shirt wise, I don't know. The t-shirts, I would do it on Grand Illusion, like I said. But personally, t-shirts business is so huge these days that in your local area, you can probably make a deal with somebody, just like I did, and not have to come out of pocket and order up a dozen or 2 dozen worth of shirts without knowing if the shirts are going to sell. So if you can find somebody that's going to print up some shirts for you for free, or say, hey, I'll get you 2 shirts for $5 or whatever. If you can find somebody like that that's willing to work with you, then that's what you should do. Because if it's in your area, that makes them easily accessible, and you can go down any day, call up on the phone. That's the good thing. I personally, I'm bi-coastal, so like right now, me and Grand Illusions, I send an email and say, hey, like right now, the Emerging Millionaire shirt, I give them an idea of a design, and I just said, hey, here's what I want to, this is what I want. Can you help me with this design? And then, of course, she sends me back a design, and I say, okay, I kind of like it, but tweak it that way, whatever. And that's how we do it long distance. And then she can ship me the shirt, a sample, that I didn't even pay for, or not even ship me a sample at all. All she has to do is put it on the mannequin and take a picture, and now I have it available for sale. So it's up to you, but I would prefer to be in the same city area that I can actually talk to. But it all depends. Everybody's different. This is a global economy, a global world, so I have no problem working with people long distance. because we can email people and we can pick up a phone and call them, and we can get in touch with people through different means these days. So it's not a problem for me that they're in Florida and I'm in California, for instance. So hopefully that answers your question, Gretchen. Gretchen, I guess I didn't answer. What link are you referring to? You're talking about Printify, printify.com, teespring.com. If you have a design, you can just put the design on the shirt online, and then you'll have a link to your t-shirts or your hoodies or your whatever you're selling. Just like I can't remember the name of those guys that used to make mugs. Yes, no S at the end. It's Grand Illusion. I always say an S because it sounds better with the S at the end, but it's Grand Illusion Fort Myers. And see Sherry, or talk to, well, Sherry, she'll answer the phone. Just tell her Eric Bird told you to give her a call. She'll know anyhow. It don't matter. She'll know who it is. I'm pretty sure I'm the only one that she's giving this special deal to. I'm only playing. Other clothing companies get their items made through her. And it's really only a mom and pop operation. She used to have this big operation, and now she just has this like little mom and pop operation. And little do people know that she's like this very gifted person. It's funny, but she's busy as hell. But she's the real nice, and everything is cool. So that's why I recommend Grand Illusion, Fort Myers, downtown, First Street, I believe it is. So, all right, guys, we've been on here 3.5 hours. Can you believe this? This has to be a record. I don't even know if YouTube allows 3.5 hour videos, but we're about to find out because once I hang up, it's going to post. So anybody else have any questions? I got to go because I'm getting hungry now, even though I'm on the West Coast. This has been a blast. I think I'm going to have to do one of these once a week now with all this love and all these people here and all this perspectives and people putting in information that's helping everyone. This is a perfect kind of chat that I like. Educational, informational, inspirational, motivational. That's what we're talking about here. And I'm glad to see some of the subscribers who've been paying attention and who's been following me for a while has chimed in and said that they've been doing great with progress, like Life Media, Eddie Lobos. Thank you, man. I appreciate you guys coming in. You know, Bodyguard, all you guys. Thanks for the support. Thank you for the love. It means a lot. And everybody pay it forward. You know, the world would be a whole lot better place if economically people were uplifted. The more people that are uplifted economically, the better world it'll be. All right, everybody. I'm going to have to end this one, but I appreciate it again. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here this whole few hours. This is unbelievable. I'm still blown away. And again, I want to say something because some people might have missed this. Um, the Super Bowl's coming up next month. Some of you qualify because some of you have bought AU Tradelines from me. Some of you have bought the Business Builder program from me. If you are in the Miami area and you have bought the Business Builder program, if you have bought an AU trade line of more than $895, and if you've done any other business with me, you will be going to a Super Bowl party with me, at least one. It may be more, it just depends. I don't know what I'm going to be doing in the next 2 or 3 weeks, but I'm going to be there for Friday and Saturday, and we're going to be going to one of the parties, whether it's I don't know if it'll be like last year's Shaq's Fun House. I don't know if we'll be going to the Maxim party or we'll be going to the Direct TV or we'll be going to the Bud Light. But anyhow, we'll be going to one of the big time parties. The ones that basically would cost you $1,000, $1,200, $1,500 to get into. I'm the only YouTuber who's inviting subscribers that I'm going to call clients because this will be a write-off, a tax write-off, entertainment write-off. So this is why I'm saying this. Anybody that's like a client can come and I will get you in with me. You will not have to pay. You just got to be in Miami. And there's a list of Super Bowl parties. I just can't remember what they are, but they're the Maxims, the Bud Light, the Direct TVs, all of those. We'll go to one of those. And like I said, some of those are invite only. So anyhow, that's it for tonight. Hopefully I answered everybody's questions, and thank you everybody for your input. Thank you for the love and the support. And if you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. And for everybody that doesn't know, when you do not, you got to hit the bell. If you don't hit the bell, then you may not get notifications on any new uploads. Apparently, subscribe button's not enough. They don't send out the information that I upload in a new video to everybody, only certain people. So you got to hit that subscribe, the bell. So I appreciate it. And hit the like button as well so people will get a hold of this video later on. All right. Yeah, PHFD. That's right. Everybody talks a good game like they make a lot of money. But how many people are going to get people in their Super Bowl parties that cost $1,200, $1,500, $2,000 and be up front? Check out the Super Bowl. So thank you, Cornell. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. I appreciate the support, man. You have a good night too. So everybody, as I always say, keep your head up, keep moving, and I'm out.